Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network. Today, I have the absolute privilege of bringing you the Down Under 40k Major live on location. So this is going to be an absolute riot. And joining me today, which is really exciting, is an old friend of mine and friend of the network, Sam Lemon, who I will unfortunately affectionately call Lemon for the rest of the event. So let's just get the nicknames out of the way now. How are you, Sam? How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jack. Good, thank you. Thanks, thank you, everyone. Welcome to an exciting Down Under 40k Major. It's going to be great to cover this event. Obviously, the first ever major being hosted by the Down Under 40k Network, and I wouldn't want to commentate with anyone else other than you. So, very much forward to it.
And I will note, I'm very excited because our round one is exactly what I wanted on screen. We were having discussions last night about who we wanted to see, and Ben wanted to see Hugh and his triple kill rig orc list, and I really wanted to see Jeremy Brodie playing Drukhari because I am an unfortunate Drukhari simp, and somehow the fates have collided and they have paired together. So today we're going to see...
calls and we answer.
Today, for round one, we're going to see Drukhari play into Orks. Now, Sam, you're going to help me with stats a lot today, but even off an initial read, it's safe to say this is not a matchup I love as a Drukhari player. So...
It's going to be killy. I'll give you that. It's going to be absolutely very, very killy. Yeah, as a Drukhari player, it's hard. Like, with triple kill rigs, like, obviously without looking at the list, and we'll be posting the list up in the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network tournament list review place. So if you need to look at the list, you can check them out there. But it's interesting, right? Like, those kill rigs are a pain to deal with. So I don't know how you do it. Like, obviously, traditionally, Drukhari players used to have Dark Lancers, which helped with a lot of the anti-tank weapons, but most Drukhari players aren't running Dark Lancers now, and generally running some Venoms, a bunch of MSU stuff, and then, look, only Dreadzar can kill so much, but maybe he can definitely kill a kill rig, I mean, eventually, but can he do it quick enough and efficiently enough? And just also the output of Orks is just the perfect profiles for you, right? Like, just a bunch of volume with AP 1, damage 1, but it just kills so much Drukhari.
Exactly. So it will be interesting. What we'll do is we'll get those lists up now for everyone. So in the meantime, yeah, obviously we're going to see a really interesting game. I'll get into it more and more as we go, but I definitely agree. Not having Dark Lancers, and even if you did have Dark Lancers in this matchup, Drukhari actually should lose a shooting war to Orks, which is really interesting. Kill rigs and the entity that they are. For those unfamiliar as well, I'll state it right now. Orks are my least favorite faction in Warhammer. Not to say I don't like them, but they are distinctly my least favorite. So whenever I see them, I always get a bit titchy. And then kill rigs are one of my least favorite units because they just have so many keywords. It's so complicated, isn't it? It's like character, psycho, vehicle, transport, monster. Like, it basically... If you think of a keyword in Warhammer, the kill rig has it, and that unlocks a lot of flexibility. Being able to transport, having an auto-hitting las cannon based on your psychic, they're a really hard unit to shift, and I'm going to be really interested to see how Jez plays around them. So while that's all getting set up, shall we go through the lists just to get everyone familiar?
Yeah, sounds good. Give me one moment. I'll bring them up for you. Sorry.
It's all good.
And also Hugh Titchener. So have you actually met Hugh Titchener? Do you know of him?
I have not. I know that he's a mate of Ben Way, who's running the event.
So Hugh Titchener, he comes from the great state of Victoria. I mean, it's great is a very strong term, but he does come from Victoria, and he's a lovely dude, absolutely lovely man. So he's actually just picked up the Orcs, so he's been running Blood Angels for a while now, and it's like, wanted a bit of a change of pace. It's like, you know what, let's get some crumping, and he started picking up Orcs. I do hear, though, he is not a fan of the war. He likes to do a very soft, eloquent, sophisticated war. He's not a traditional Orc player who wars and everyone within a 10-kilometer radius can hear him. So at least he won't blow out our microphones on stream, which is very lovely and kind of him. But, I do like a bit of a good war. It is fun.
That is very generous of him, I will admit. But it is what it is. I personally am a fan of the soft war. I think once you've heard a wah once or twice, the gimmick gets lost. So I don't know. I can support that decision. I've got the lists up, so I'll run through. First, we'll start off with the Drukhari list, because that's probably the one I'm most familiar with, and obviously you as well. So we've got Jeremy Brodie's Drukhari. It is an Arks of Omen detachment, compulsory elites. Obviously, he's not running a real space raid, so this is just a custom witch cult with precise killers and test of skill. Test of skill is +1 to wound against vehicles, which is going to be really important in the matchup. He has Drazar, obviously, with a Warlord trait, which I definitely respect. He's got a unit of Racks just to fill in his points. He's got 4 units of Witches with Grave Lotus, so strength 4 with +1 to wound is going to be really nice here against those vehicles. 3 units of 5 Incubi. 2 units of Mandrakes, which is really nice to play the forward deploy war against things like Commandos. 2 big squads of Hellions, 2 7-man squads of Hellions, with Adrenalite, so +1 attack. A unit of Reavers with Hypex, just to go and score probably behind or something quick. And then 4 Raiders in 2023. That's amazing. 2 Venoms. And then he's got another Patrol detachment, which is the exact same. Precise Killer's Test of Skill, which is an option you have for Drukhari now in the new Arks of Omen. He's got the Succubus with the Triptych Whip and Precision Blows, an absolute classic. And then a big unit of Blood Brides with an Impaler and Razor Flails, which is also going to be a really nice unit. And another unit of Reavers. So what we're seeing out of this list, again, I don't think this is a great matchup, but Jez's list is really, really good at turning around to a lot of armies and utilizing some very tricky rules in Drukhari like No Escape. All those witch units, your witches, your blood brides, and your succubus, can actually lock models into combat, which against orcs might not be the best thing because they kind of want to be there anyway, but it can be a really interesting thing. This is a very fast list, it's got a lot of utility, and more importantly, it doesn't rely on a single unit. Except for Drazar, of course, but everything in the army does damage. Everything has its own key points, and it's very fast and very good at objective control. So I'm really keen to see how this plays out over the course of the event. Any comments on the Drukhari there, Lemon?
Yeah, look, it's a lot of MSU crap, hey? Like, it's so much stuff. So, like, obviously, we talked about those Raiders. Raiders of 2023, who would have thought that? So, 4 Raiders, 2 Venoms, and just so many witch units. Like, there is so many witches, and they put out so many attacks. And, like, as Jack mentioned, they generally, like, in matchups, they don't generally try and use the no escape rule, and with the succubus as well, to prevent people from falling back. But I think the Orks and this list in particular, Hugh will be like, you're not trapped with me, I'm trapped with you, or vice. Also, you're not, vice. Whatever it works out, you know how the lingo goes. So, interesting list. Obviously, using the Reavers to sort of expand it very, very quick, like the auto advance 8 and just fly across the board. So, very interesting list, and I'm a fan. This will be a lot of fun to play, the Drukhari list. But let's go on to the big Wah, the Wah man himself, Hugh Titchener
100%.
from Victoria. Already see some love in the chat from. Yeah, sure. So, Hugh's running, obviously, Orks we talked about, and he's running Goff. So, Goff is just Elixirs Explode, and he gets +1 strength for the first round of combat. So, when he charges. So, he's got Zagstruck. So, Zagstruck's just a upgraded Storm Boy. He's got Weird Boy with Warpath and Fist of Gork. So, be able to +1 attack and improve himself. The Weird Boy, like, get himself or another character up with buffs, War Boss, just with all Brutal Cunning and To Kill a Claw. So it's basically, so you'll be familiar with this. Jack's a competitive edge, so it always re-rolls everything, basically, like everything that doesn't go through to the inflict wound step, you re-roll it all. And To Kill a Claw is just an upgraded weapon, which is AP 3, damage 3, and strength time 2. So that thing will smack. He's got 3 lots of 10 Beastmaker boys, which are the upgraded, boys kit, which came out this year in this 9th edition. 3 lots of 10 Gretchen, 2 lots of 5 Commandos with choppers, 1 lot of 10 Knobs with Claw and Chopper, which are truck boys. So truck boys are notable because, Impulses and maybe Devilfish with Tau, they can get out after the transport's moved. So they can actually really leverage, and in the war turn, they can go very, very far. He's got 3 out of 10 Storm Boys with power claws on the knob, so just some fast-moving jetpack stuff. And 3 kill rigs, so with the red, yellow, and purple kill rig. So, and then a truck. So happy days. Yeah, a lot of. What do you think? What do you think listening to that, Jack?
What I'm thinking is that is a lot of bodies, and as you said, that war turn is so fast. Drukhari tend to only really kick off on turn 2, and Orks can kick off whenever they want. So what we are going to see, and what I'm hoping for, especially given the mission, which we'll get into in a moment, is just an absolute slaughterfest. I don't see this game being anything other than meeting in the middle and having these really interesting like flank fights. I think we're going to see a lot of, where you're going to watch, probably, as we'll cut to the board later, fights over the 2 corner objectives. It's still a lot of stuff. Obviously, the triple kill rig. I think this is a really well put together list. I love Zagstruck in this army so much. Zagstruck is like a really nice little pivot piece. He's a randomly powerful war boss that auto advances 20 and has 1 million attacks for only about 110 points or something. Obviously, the competitive edge Orc is really showing it to Drukhari, because we call it competitive edge because the succubuses used to be able to take it. They no longer can. So it really is a big, FU to the poor old succubus with her precision blows now. But yeah, what we're going to do, so they're the lists. We'll do a prediction soon, just to set one of those up. So see what everyone in the chat thinks, who's going to win either way. And go from there. But in the meantime, I'm going to cut over to the table, just so we can start explaining the mission. So, mission 1 today is conversion. I will pull that up for everyone just so we have an idea of how that looks. But basically, it's table quarters deployment, 9 inches off the center, and each corner has an objective loosely in the middle of it, and then 1 in the center of the battlefield. The tertiary for today is you are going to score 2 points if at the end of your turn you hold an objective in no man's land. So any of the 3 in the middle outside of the deployment zones. You're going to score 4 if you hold your opponents, and you're going to lose 1 if you don't control yours at the end of your turn. Notably as well, this scenario has a special rule related to warlords. When your warlord dies, you only regain CP at the start of each battle round on a 4+. So it's going to be a bit interesting in this matchup. Having to keep Drazar back if you want to gain some CP is going to be pretty important for Jez. Hugh might also have the same problem, so they might be a bit more cagey with their warlords than they normally are. But we're going to have to see. So it looks like they're setting up now. So what I might do, unless you have any comments on that, Sam, how do you think the mission will actually change from the perspective of both players? Because from my perspective, I think this is just going to be a mission, if I take these down, whereby, and pull up my fancy new technology, whereby I think fighting over these 2 ruins is going to dominate. I don't know if Drukhari can contest this against Kilrigs. I'd be very interested to see. Maybe they can do a good job of move blocking off here, because I think a lot of the Orc power is going to come from stopping those kill rigs from getting into the center of the board. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's interesting. And apologies to everyone. So unfortunately, right now we're fiddling with the camera, and for this round, the camera will be flipped a little bit. So what traditionally is like the bottom left and top right is actually the top left and bottom right. So apologies about that for everyone, but we'll try and get it fixed between rounds today. Yep. I think it's important. So on these terrain layouts, so down under 40k for this major, they've done fixed terrain layouts. So you'll see that these big ruins and like big lines like blocking with some forests and stuff in between. And like both opponents have forward deploy units so they can leverage things. And I think it's critical. I think this game is definitely going to turn into like a hammer and anvil style. So being both long board edges, they'll contest and use. Drukhari probably long-term have the speed advantage. So the Orcs have to be sort of careful in the sense of making sure that the Drukhari can't easily actively get to the grots, which are the Gretchen. So because the Gretchen, they will score like all the Orc secondaries. So with Green Tide and get the good bits, which I imagine Tew will be taking. I guess we'll get secondaries here shortly, right? Or have they selected already, and we can chuck them on screen?
We're gonna get those shortly. Right now, they're just going through deployment.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is
Nice.
I'm gonna switch over to the players so that they can talk while they're discussing their deployment, just so everyone can get an idea of where everything's at. And in the interim, we're gonna get some secondaries for everyone and see how it's all going.
Drukhari is an army actually I kind of like. Once you play fast melee, you kind of just want to play nothing but fast melee, I find.
Yeah, pretty much.
You like playing Blood Angels and these guys. Clocking you, mate. 10 groks.
Thank you.
Quick question. So just know. So just this piece of terrain here, the gap on your side is much bigger than the gap on my side. Do you mind if I pull this way a fraction?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Put my first raider down.
Yep.
5 incubi and 5 witches.
Inside? Yes. Sick. Make sure that, so that can... So what's that, the purple one? Alright, back to you, kill rig down. You know how truck boys work, yeah? The truck can go 12.
Then they hop out.
Yeah, disembark, move, advance, can charge, yeah.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Next raider with 5 incubi, 5 witches.
Yeah, thank you. Alright, back over to you, man. Second kill rig down.
Try. Raider with Draz, witches, and incubi.
Yep. Trucks down. Back to you. So I'll just put that right there.
First group of Hellions is down.
Yep. Third kill rig's down, so they're all down.
Second unit Hellions is down.
Yep. Longest part of the friggin' army is, well, second longest part after war turn. Over you, mate. 5 commander over.
I forgot to double check the rules. Are they windowed or non?
Believe they're windowed.
That's what I
Yep.
thought.
Yep.
I thought I'm pretty sure every terrain piece is exactly as it is.
Yeah.
So. Sweet.
Yeah, like you will be able to shoot me if you touch it, like through the back. Yeah, but you can't shoot through without touching because they still get obscuring.
Yeah. Yep, no, exactly what I thought. Venom with 5 witches.
Yep. So these grots aren't really squad marked, but I'm just going to move them in 2 lines of 5. So it's pretty easy to keep track of them. Now, I know you have Eternal Tormentors, but do you have Fight First on anything?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so while deployment seems to be wrapping up, I have some good news for everyone at home. We have the secondaries of both players, so we can have a bit of a discussion about that and where we think the game is going. So, we'll start off with the Orks. Player 1, Hugh, is going to start with 4 CP, and he has taken what I think is a pretty respectable sweep for his Orc army. He's taken Get to Good Bits, he's taken Green Tide, and he's taken Warp Ritual. So just to explain what those do, Get to Good Bits is an action-based secondary. You perform an action on any objective outside of your deployment zone. It completes at the start of your next turn, or at the end of your turn if it's Gretchen performing the action, and you get 4 points every time you do it. And more importantly, you're able to start as many of those actions as you want every turn. Warp Ritual is a classic you'll probably see over the course of the weekend. Basically, with Warp Ritual, you cast a Warp Charge 4 Psychic action in the middle of the board within 6 inches of the center, which I believe can be done from behind these ruins here. So that is important. And you get 3 points for the first cast, you get 7 points if you've cast twice, and then finally you get 12 if you do all 3 casts, and that's where the secondary maxes out. And then Green Tide is a board control based secondary for the Orks. They will score 1 point for every quarter of the board they have 10 or more models in at the end of each of their turns. Moving on to Drukhari, Jez has gone for, again, a sweep that I love as a Drukhari player. No prisoners, take them alive and behind enemy lines. So Jez is setting himself up to turn the entire game into kills, which I think is a really good move. No prisoners, he'll get a point for every 10 wounds worth of models he kills that are infantry based, so non-vehicle. Take them alive, he'll get a point for everything he kills, every unit he kills in melee, and he'll get 3 points for every character or monster kills in melee. That does cap out at 5 per battle round. And behind enemy lines is going to be putting a unit wholly within Hugh's deployment zone every turn. If he puts 1 unit in, he will get 1 point, or he'll get 3 points. If he puts 2 units in, he will get 4 points. So anything in there gets a unit wholly within, which I expect he will be doing. That's part of his game plan. He'll score a lot of points. So, Sam, what do you think about that? Because from my perspective, I think these are pretty balanced secondaries. I think both players have picked exactly what I would assume in the matchup. And I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, Hugh Titchener of secondaries. The Orks, if you didn't know, they're actually just green Necrons in disguise. Like, they just score so many secondary points and so easily, it's ridiculous. So, obviously, we get the good bits. Like, you're going to have like just Gretchen doing actions and objectives in no man's land and just scoring 4s and 6s every time. And obviously this can still be completed with stuff which aren't Gretchen, but most of the time people do it with Gretchen. So because it completes end of turn, or maybe sometimes looters, but generally Gretchen, let's be real. And the Warp Ritual's just fine. Like Drukhari have no way of deniers in this list. So look, you just easily cast it on those kill rigs. Like you may not realize, but they're psychic and they're characters. So there you go. Best of both worlds. So just sit there in the middle, cast Warp Ritual, and like it's going to be very, very hard for Mr. Jeremy Brodie to kill all the kill rigs in time for Warp Ritual to happen. So before Hugh's able to Goff pressure him into the middle. And also the Weird Boys there also for that task as well, if needs be. So, and there's a green tide you'll score naturally by just keeping things existing. So there we go. And then like Jeremy Brodie, I don't think he's done anything wrong there. Like you got to have to kill stuff. No prisoners, take him alive. Like just rewards you for playing the game of just table them, like old school Warhammer. Let's just kill all the other models, right?
I love it. It's like
that rewards you pretty well. And the only one I have questions on and want to hear your thoughts is behind me lines. Like, yes, Goth pressure is the thing that try and table you, but I'll try and pin you in the corner. And I know he has the speed and gets to fly to get around, just like chuck one thing there. But I don't know if he's going to be wanting to fight over there. Maybe. Like, what do you think? Do you think that's the right play? But the same question we said, like, what else do you take? Like, it's going to swarm the board with so many obsec stuff as well. So, what else do you take?
I genuinely think Drukhari have a really interesting problem with secondaries right now. Not holistically, but they don't have access to any psychic secondaries. They tend to only work with kill, and all of their units are pretty valuable from a killing perspective. So they don't really like action-based secondaries. If they were into anything except for Orks, I'd love Raise the Banners. But with Goth pressure, you can't really perform any objective-based or action-based secondaries. Like even Nephilim or even Retrieve Data doesn't seem particularly great here. So I think Behind's actually the best of a bad bunch. One of the things with Goth pressure and one of the things with Jez's list is any of the transports for 1 CP can go back up into the air and come down as reinforcements. So you might see that later if we can thin out the Orks well enough. Just to put Raiders in the backfield, and then he can disembark to get a whole bunch of points. He's got the Reavers to do it turn 1 if he wants to. If the Goth pressure isn't big enough. I think this is the best choice he's got. I don't love it, and I don't think he'll love it either, but he's certainly picked what I would have in the matchup. Just in terms of it, though, this will be a really good example of kind of unfortunately where I think this is going. As you said, I really love that analogy. They are really just green Necrons. Get to good bits and Green Tide are just going to rack up points before anyone notices. And Warp Ritual could be denied, but it's going to be tricky. One of the things I will note is Jez might be able to play a turn 1 screen on those kill rigs by putting any unit there to block them off. And he may be able to maintain at least some semblance of move blocking them for 1 or 2 turns. Because even knocking that down to 7 could be worthwhile. Whether or not that'll work, I don't know. Whether or not I think he'll go for that is going to also come down to if he gets first turn. Because if my money is correct, if Orks go first, what I think you're going to see is this kill rig here coming down, or this kill rig coming around to go score Warp Ritual. Another really important note is our forward deploys. You might see over there. Jez has got a unit of Mandrakes holding that objective, which is a nice bit of pressure because it's going to force some unit to come over. Obviously, he's done a smart thing by staying an inch away from the wall so that the kill rigs can't actually get around and use it for free movement. And I think Jez, in any day of the week, is more than happy to sack a unit. If his opponent sacks a unit of Truck Boys to go deal with the Mandrakes, he's happy with that. So I think that's a really good decision. And over here, it looks like we're seeing both units of Commandos just hiding and bunkering down on the other objective to create pressure on the other side. So what I think we're going to see from the Drukhari is a conservative push to move this way. Scattering, I don't know if he'll be able to score behind enemy lines. It looks, actually, I have breaking news. It looks like Jez has won the first turn roll-up. So what we might do is cut back to them momentarily. Actually, no. I think we'll talk about it because Jez just went first. So what do you think about that, Lemon? Do you think that's good for Drukhari or bad for Drukhari?
I think it's good because I think it's better for them to be able to establish a presence and like get some damage through initially and sort of, I guess, like I was slow down the green tide, right? You've got to slow down the Goff pressure. I think if Hugh went first here, he's able to just get such a commanding lead, and he can. And now at least Jeremy has at least 2 turns, or Jezza has at least 2 turns now to sort of try and deal with everything in there. So I think it helps. I don't know if he's going to be able to do too much, but look, he's able to establish some presence and just kill some stuff, right? So I think it's good. I don't know if it affects late game scoring at all for Hugh. Like, obviously, it might help his primary late game, but I think Jeremy, in order to win this game, he has to get the stuff out of the kill rigs, right? I think he has to get the stuff out of the kill rigs and start killing a bunch of the smaller things. So, interesting to see what happens now. So, and now it looks like he's moving up the Hellions into that top what is on screen bottom right wall. So he's just moving that and just starting now to position some Venoms and get them ready to explode out and steal some stuff. One thing that is noteworthy is with obviously all these Venoms and all these Raiders and all this MSU Witches is he can actually play the primary game pretty well here, Jezza or Jeremy, because it's OBSEC 5, right? And like there's only so much OBSEC in which Hugh with the Orks does have. So with all these Witches and all this small MSU stuff, he can actually really leverage it, I think. And can you just remind the viewers again? So obviously this is a custom Drukhari copper. Yeah. What's the special trait that Jeremy has?
So Jeremy, the big one that I will mention is Test of Skill first off, which is +1 to wound against any vehicle or monster that's 10 or more wounds. So, and interestingly, that applies to the Raiders' Dark Lancers. So we're going to see a couple of Dark Lancers that are basically going to be Strength 8 with +1 to wound, which will help maybe pen through the vehicles. And Precise Killers, I will have to double check, but I believe it is Exploding Sixes in combat or something along those lines. It might also, actually no, I know what it is. Racking my old Drukhari brain. It's 5s also contribute to Blade Artists, which Blade Artists, so everyone knows, is a universal Drukhari rule that gives you an additional rend on 6s to wound in combat. Basically, Precise Killers is doing that on 5s and 6s. So he's going to get a bit more rend where he needs it, which is pretty important. Great, especially on that unit of Blood Brides, because Blood Brides, when they get the Blade Artists, go from -1 to -4. So, could be interesting. Test of Skill is going to be really good here. The 4 Dark Lancers may be able to do some actual damage to a kill rig. And I'd be curious to see what happens, because from memory, the Ork list doesn't have a KFF, and he can't call the War turn 1, which means there won't be an Invol turn 1. So it'll be interesting to see if Jez hides.
Yes, correct, yes.
It'll be interesting to see if Jez hides or if he's going to try and actually chip off one of those vehicles. Because the other
and I think it'll be also important for... Oh, you go.
Yeah, one of the other big issues, and where we're going to get into my favorite conversation of why I don't like kill rigs, is they're also transports. So cracking open a kill rig isn't amazing because it will just spill out a bunch of Orks, which could be a bit dangerous. Same with the truck boys. Like, taking the truck out is nice to stop the mobility of that unit, but mostly his big issues are going to be the Gretchen and the Storm boys. So I'd be curious to see how he actually goes about his turn, whether or not he just plays a complete passive game of, I'm going to hide where I can and move from there, or see what he does. So what we might do, just quickly, is cut over to the players, because it's all well and good that we know what we're talking about theoretically, but I think they might have a better idea. So what we're going to do is just switch over to them and see where the game is at.
Oh, I'm terrified of that cameraman.
Oh, I know.
So terrified.
I was going to put my chair there, so I forced myself to get a long way.
So there. Now, I won't take Tormentors on them, will I? So, and just to, but it's only if I'm in combat with a unit that has the Eternal Tormentors ability that I have to take a test,
Which
correct?
is, Incubi and
And Draz. Yeah, so like, it's not like a 3-inch aura. All right, so I will call the War. Turn 1.
Yep.
I'll probably just use an advance dice just here, man. These procs here. here. So,
When you can, at the end of each battle round, can I just get a score check?
yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. No, all good, man. Alright, so position the commandos like so, just don't move them out of sequence. I'll just roll in advance in case I need it. Yeah, they got plenty of movement. Shitload. So the purple commando is all good bits. So that'll enter my next command phase. These front rocks will advance. 6, so go on 11. I'll just pick them all up, they're in formation, and then put them down. Now that's just to signify what's in it, yeah. That's not actually...
Correct, that's
yeah.
just signifying the units.
So we both remember what's going on? Just making sure. Yeah, appreciate that. Move the clock a little bit. The back rots will advance. 1, so go 6. Just going to put them like that, but they're on the ground floor.
Yep.
Right, goes there. Wait, silly Brodies. Get him out. No, I don't want to get him out. Now, Draz has got, is his fight twice every fight phase? Stupid question. He charges.
Yep.
Can he fight again in something he did not charge?
No.
Okay.
You can only fight.
Yeah, what he would have declared. Yeah, just making sure. Yeah, it's on your this Regal throw and advance out. 1. So that'll get me 11 inches because I go up to 13, take off 2. Get to there, so I can shoot that.
Does he ignore the minus?
No, so he's moved 12. Yeah. Do I want to burn a CP to roll that? So he'll get to here, and then he'll cop a -2 off, but I can just ram in speed. I'll be safe, I've got lots of CP, so I will use the CP.
Yep.
About 1 down to 5, I'll just roll it here, man. 3, it's alright, it's a little bit better. So he goes 15 down to 13.
Yep.
So he'll still be coming off that, but he's just got a little bit more distance. Strike will just come in here, not advancing. Now I'm just going to roll the advance for the guys getting out of it. So I get a 1, so they will go 9. So that'll take us, but then we'll take a 2 off, so we'll go to here. We just take the easy kill on the mandrakes. Yeah, I think we just take the easy kill on the mandrakes. What do we go that way? So 1, 3, 8, 9, back to 7. This way, but then we'll have to cop a -2. Yeah, we'll just take the easy. A Zag truck is still in the truck, because he can't do the truck boy thing.
They're all 2 wounds each, aren't they?
Yeah. 4 up save, 2 wounds.
5 up invuln because of the war?
Yes. So whole army's 5 up invuln until my next command phase. And yeah, T5. Just make sure I'm not cheating with any movement here. Nah, because I come out and I go 9. Yeah, so I'm basically unfailable charge. I'm going to ask every elder player, you can't interrupt and then run away with something, can you? Like fight aside from the succubus. I'm pretty sure she...
Only the succubus.
Yeah, only, yeah. Cool. Alright, so well, use a different card, so advances have been shit. This kill rig here is going to advance, the red one.
Yep.
6, so it goes 18.
Yep.
And then he will pretty much finish, because I cop a neg 2, there.
Yep.
I want to go. This kill rig, yellow kill rig will advance. 6, so he'll just go. Yeah, so I probably get him to about here because that's 14, but obviously I've got a pivot. So he just goes like that pretty much.
Yep.
Sorry, I moved him a little bit forward then. It's good. Alright. It's just Storm Boys. Okay. I'll advance the red Storm Boys. Yep. No mortal wound, so we're good. And just for reference, anytime I take the mortal from that, I'm just going to put it straight onto the knock because he's 2 wounds. I don't need the full advance. You don't have any Trueborn in your list, do you?
No.
Yeah, I was just thinking for Overwatch purposes. It's all good. Yellow Storm Boys are just going to make a regular move, so they're not advancing, so I'm not rolling for the mortal.
Yep.
Show my chicken movement. No, so you can go. And then they can just go.
I'd hate to cut in, but it appears, Sam, that we have had a war called this turn.
I didn't hear it, Jack. That can't be a war. That was way too soft for a war to be called. But yes, there has definitely been a war called.
If you wanted
Indeed.
to do a war in honor, I'm happy for you to do a war. I'm contractually obligated never to war.
Look, I'll save the audio listeners' earbuds and not do a proper war, so it's okay. And I won't wake up my wife next door. So
Yeah, that might be a smart
avoid
move.
getting. That might be a smart idea. So yeah, so obviously call the war here and now. Here is the pressure, right? So he's uploaded. So if you want to draw, please, for us, young Jack. In the top right, I believe he's actually unloaded the truck boys over there into the 5 mandrakes on that objective, and he's moved all the kill rigs. So obviously he's got 2 of them in the forest, and I believe it's 10 storm boys there on the main objective. So he's completely unloaded, and he's got a bunch of stuff ready to go from here. So obviously in the first turn of the war, so they get a 5-up invo. They get +1 attack, and there's one other element, and they can advance and charge. That's what they can do. So they can get advance and charge for the first. And so how the war works, it's like one full battle round essentially. So from Hugh's turn, so he's got bottom of the turn. So bottom of 1 and top of 2, he'll have this version of the war, and then his bottom of 2 and Jeremy's top of 3, he'll have just +1 strength, +1 attack. So. Obviously, look, he's going for the advanced charge, right?
Yeah. Also a pretty good turn from the perspective of getting his secondaries online. Like, I believe that kill rig, if I delete some of these, I believe this kill rig is within range of Warp Ritual. So that is exciting. That's going to score points there. These 10, I assume, are going to be the first fight of the bunch. And killing those mandrakes will mean that he gets green tide in this corner. He'll get green tide in this corner, and he'll get green tide down here because he's got the Gretchen and the Commandos. For 3 points on that turn 1, which is a really good start. One of the other things that I will note, based on how aggressively Jazz pushed up, is this is a lot of transports that are about to get attacked by Storm Boys. I would be very surprised if those Venoms don't go down, and I'd be very surprised if I'd actually ignore the Raider here and just try and wrap it afterwards, because what I'm looking at here is forcing 2 emergency disembarks, or forcing an emergency on one of the Venoms and surrounding the other one as a result. So he could lose a lot of models here to that Stormboy squad if he wants to go in on it. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Orks need to hold the middle objective. I think they're pretty comfortable putting their 10 commandos here and here. The Goff pressure list, as much as it is very good at scoring objectives early, is also very good at taking a couple of turns off the objectives just to table your opponent. Just to kill them down resources to the point where on turn 3 onwards you can just step on the objectives and get 12s for the rest of the game. So I'll be curious to see how that works. I just had a bit of a run around to the other tables as well. There's some pretty interesting matchups kicking around. Got another Orc player playing against Guard, which is pretty exciting. My fellow teammate has paired into the captain of New South Wales ATC, so it's Orks versus Eldar, which should be interesting. Unlike here, with the Drukhari, Owen, who is my teammate, has taken 10 Fire Dragons in his list. So might actually be able to take on those kill rigs. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that one and a couple of other games floating around. And the Down Under boys are going to update me with some spicy details over the course of the weekend. The other thing that's really important for this event is that there's a bounty board. So various players have been marked for bounties, and beating them will result in the distribution of a beverage, shall we say, to the winner. So I'll keep everyone updated on how many of those get scored every now and then. There's a couple of big ones. I know Eric is bountied. I know Chris Wright, the Terminator himself, is bountied, and a whole bunch of others. So that'll be really interesting to keep track of as well. All right. So what?
Yeah, absolutely. And Swaldock in chat. So I believe it's the one, the myth, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Hayden Waldock of WTC Australia fame. So he said, "I'm going to see Orcs running into mid-board, then Druk will come out and clap him. He needs to be careful to not give up all his resources early." So yeah, talking about how the Orcs will start the initial trades, and then as long as hopefully the Orcs don't use too many resources, and then the Drukhari, because obviously all their stuff is so cheap and they can punch up very well for what they are. See who wins the ultimate trade. So be interesting. So that we see up the top there the 10 truck boys going to the 5 mandrakes, and then I don't know if there's any other charges to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to switch over to them just so we get an idea of what's being charged and where, and then we'll come back at the end of the turn to have a bit of a brief.
Where'd the guys that were in this get out to?
That was empty.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, got you. Yeah, all good. Yeah. So do you mind if you just move those two?
No problem.
Thanks, man.
No, you can't charge through them.
Sorry?
You can't charge through them.
Yeah. All right, sick. So now on a 2-up, you take D3 mortal wounds.
Yep.
So D3, 3 mortals.
Down to 1.
Yep. That kill can't declare. And is there's something in that venom, isn't there?
There is 5 witches.
Yeah. It's probably best I just try and charge and kill it though. So the Storm Boys will go through the wall.
Yep.
So, 7 will do it. I'm just going to put them, I'll put one there. And I'll change this after combat, but just so they're on the ground floor, so we know where they are.
What was that, sir?
I'll change this after combat, but just so we know they're on the ground floor.
Yeah, you're good.
Coherency. Yeah, and then the rest will just post, we can post up around a little bit. Yeah. Post up on the wall. So they're just going to come through the wall. All right, cool. Going to go with the knobs first, obviously. Yep. I don't know, Mandarin Cobra. It's relevant, you never know. What's the toughness, save, and wounds?
Toughness, they've got a 5-up invuln. They're -1 to hit at all times.
Yep.
But that really matters. And they are toughness 3 with 1 wound each.
1 wound each. So I'm going to use the choppers.
Yep.
Yeah, what's their save, sorry?
5-up invuln.
No armor save relevant? Okay. So neg 1 to hit. So it'll be 4 attacks per guy. I'll just roll 5 guys and 5 guys.
Yep.
Yeah, it literally doesn't make a difference if I swing with the chopper or the claw, because they're both neg 1 to hit and they're both winning you on 2s.
Exactly.
3. So I'll just roll choppers.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah. No, all good.
2s. So far you've got 3, 6, 8. And then I'll roll all these again.
I'll just roll these 5-ups.
Yeah,
so
good
we
man.
save time. Pass. Oh, so they're all dead.
Yep.
Shouldn't take the long way so I don't break anything.
Yep.
Cool.
I will go with the Storm Boys next. I'm assuming you're not going to interrupt. You know what I mean. And then if they can just swing through those other guys through the wall. So we can fight this. I'm just going to leave them there, but the whole unit's like in, so I can go through the wall if you're cool with that.
Yep.
So I'll swing the power claw first.
Yep. I believe I'm -1 to hit.
Yeah, you neg 1 against this anyway.
Only from range attack.
Yeah.
So,
So this will still be hitting on 4s, but exploding 6s, which I forgot to blind. Oh no, the knobs don't get it. So 3 hits and then it explodes.
Yep.
So 4 hits. 2 saves, that'd be 3 damage too.
2 5-ups. 1 gets through.
Yep, so 2 damage.
Down to 3. Yep.
3, 4. So I'll roll 4 and then I'll roll 5, so that'll be the whole unit.
Yep.
So these are 3s, exploding 6s. And then 1 6, so 1 dice goes back in.
Yep.
And then toughness 6 and 5, so I'm winning you on 4s.
Yep.
I'm winning on 3s actually, so I'm strength 6. So that many AP 1s.
These are all 5-ups.
Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Sorry, I'll get them out of here for you.
5s. 1, 2, 3, 4 will kill him.
Yep.
He's got 3 wounds left anyways. Does he explode? Yes. Fucking awesome. Alright, so your Storm Boys take the mortal wound.
Yep, so I'll just take it on the knob.
Yep. Kill Ring takes a mortal wound.
Oh, so just 1. Yep. He's down to
And my
15.
Raider will take the mortal wound, which will kill it.
Yep.
So then I'll sort this out and then I'll resolve its.
Yep. I'll just clock to you for this one, man, because you've got to get all your boys out.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend the CP on emergency.
Disembark? Yeah, for 6 inch, yeah. So 1s and 2s.
Yep. They're not obstinate, are they?
No.
16, I should be able to get them
Yep.
over here. See who dies. 3 die. That's fine. So that's that gone. Now I've got to resolve the death of the Raider.
Yep.
So does it explode? No.
Nope.
Let me get my peoples out. Which, that venom dying gives me a nice little hole there, which is good. by. And witches. Ten guys hopped out to see who dies. Yep. Ones. Three die.
Did emergency disembark 1 or 2 CP?
I felt like it was one, it could be two.
I'm just going to check it.
Just triple check.
I've been playing it as 1 too, so I'm just not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's 1 CP. All good.
Cool. I'm done now. You can do your consolidations and all your fun stuff.
Don't really care about tagging much, so that's 3 witches.
Yep.
Not going to bother giving you any free damage, so I'm just going to leave. Look, I will go just a little bit like closer like that, so a bit threatening, but I'm not going to go engagement range. Same with the Storm Boys, they're just going to chill. So you've got 2 morale, or 1 morale, I'm assuming. I don't know if you can fail the witches.
I'm pretty sure I'm only leadership 8, so.
The witches are good if you leadership 8, but the girls here.
Oh, witches as well. Leadership 8. Yep. So they're fine, because that was 2. They
Yep.
got you on a 6.
Oh, I saw the 6 for a second. Alright, all good, man. So I've already scored into mine, you can put in mine, so I'll get 3 green type. So I've got 10 models in 3/4.
Yep.
I've got 3 for ritual that turn, 2 to corrupt the ground, and good bits, I've got a good bit started here. Alright, I will clock back to you, my friend.
Easy.
Top of 2, you'll get an 8 for primary. So you're up to 4 CP, I'm up to 5. You hold 1, hold 2, and over to you.
Okay, so that is the end of turn 1 from our end. Sam, what do you reckon? That seems pretty interesting. We did see a lot of Drukhari die, but I think as the chat has also caught on to, this is going to be the pivotal turn. This is going to be the turn to keep your eyes glued in, folks, because all of a sudden the Drukhari now have advance and charge. All of the Orks are forward, and it's going to be an exercise in how many Orks can they take out in a single round to get through and over this. So what do you reckon? I just got the scores in, so I'll punch them in and then we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, do you want to run through your thoughts?
Yeah, like so pivotal. So obviously, so as we saw there in the middle, so what Hugh was trying to do is obviously with the Storm Boys and the Kill Rig is pivot and wrap. Obviously, those transports and stop actually a bunch of the things getting out. So one thing that's probably noteworthy if you're unaware is obviously when you disembark, you have to disembark wholly within 3 of the transport. But if you can't fit a model, those models just die, and you only have the one option of emergency disembark, which increases that range up to 6 inches. So as you saw there, so Jeremy Brodie used the 6-inch disembark emergency to get some witches on that main objective in the middle there to score some primary. And funnily enough, so when the venom died, it exploded. And of course, the raider was on 1 wound, which caused it to die as well, which is actually quite helpful, I'd say, for Jeremy Brodie, because that was going to die anyway. But it left us actually a perfect pocket before the Orks can consolidate. That allowed him to get stuff out, because if he wasn't able to do that, I fear that many of those models inside that raider were actually just going to die anyway. So that was actually pretty handy for Jeremy for that venom to explode for him.
We call that supreme tactical strategy in Warhammer, where
of course exactly.
Jeremy knew that transport was going to blow up, and that was all according to plan. So that was
absolutely. And now this is where the interesting thing is, and this is where high-level players have to know where and when they want to take the risks and how to mitigate them. So with the Orks, obviously, with the fight phase shenanigans of mitigating fight first, fight last, and trying to know when an interrupt could happen, so the counter-offensive stratagem, and try and mitigate it all. So, because Orks just have the regular 2 CP interrupt, but because Orks can punch so hard and kill the elves, like, where am I going to try and fight first and make those charges, and where am I willing to take the risk of maybe avoiding interrupt or have enough units to punch up still? So as I see at the top right there, so the Hellions going into the knobs, which is the perfect profiles as well. And I think the Drukhari player, depending on where Drazar and Incubi are, needs to leverage that potential fight last in, I believe it's Lethal Tormentors, is this the ability on them. So basically all it is roll 2d6, and if I beat the leadership, that unit fight lasts. So at the start of the fight phase. Yeah, so and that the Incubi and Drazar will have that ability. And noteworthily, I believe the Raiders themselves are the big elongated boats that have Grizzly trophies on them, which actually minuses 2 leadership. And Orc leadership isn't the best anyway. So what Jeremy can do is mitigate and make sure that he has a fight last almost guaranteed per se somewhere. And that way he can start the fight somewhere and then continue onwards from there.
There's just an interesting point to be said when it comes to the fight last. None of the Orcs also fight first, which means the Orcs are only going to get 1 interrupt. So often, because both players have 5 CP, what you're going to see from both of them almost certainly is they're both going to try and keep interrupt up as long as they can. Interrupt is so pivotal in this matchup because one unit being able to fight can often be the difference between an objective being owned by one player or another. So what we're going to probably see here is those Hellions are advancing up, which is a really good move. We're probably going to see them shoot to try and thin out the Orcs. And what we're going to probably see from Jez is a concerted effort to probably fight on 3 flanks. One where, as you said, he has the Grizzly trophies and that Tormentor lockdown. One where he knows he can fight first and kill. And then another one with a thinned unit that's not going to be too dangerous to try and maybe force some precious CP. Because at the end of the day, 7 Hellions are probably going to survive 4 Orcs in combat. So you're not too worried about that. Otherwise, I think it's pretty smart for Jez at this point to ignore the kill rigs. It seems controversial, admittedly. Maybe not this one down here, because that one will present a problem for a while, but these two are a bit dangerous. All the trucks are based up there. The more of the infantry he can kill any turn, the better. I think he's going to probably be throwing out a Hellion squad down there just to try and clear off what he can. And yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what he does. What we might do is switch over to them just to see if Jez gives us any insight into how he's moving. Any more thoughts before we do that, Lemon?
Yeah, so just quickly, I just want to point out, so thank you, Disposable Hero, for following the channel. And then also, Mr. Ducky himself is like, I hope the Aussies let the players count the Orcs, no prisoners, and make sure it's right at the end of the game. So a little bit of shade thrown there about some allegations that may have happened at LVO. May or may not have happened. Well, definitely did happen. So I'm sure we'll definitely count no prisoners more accurately than that. So, and shout out to everyone. So also there's some predictions going on in the chat. So if you want to predict how the matchup's going or who you think will win, feel free to put a little side bet there and go from there. And if you want to check out lists, just check them out on Best Coast Pairings or in Discord. So,
all right. Yeah, so we're going to cut over to the players. Also, another big thing that I will mention now, probably going to mention it more throughout the day, is this is Australia's tabletop wargaming network. We are basically a bunch of wargamers setting this up and running events where we can. If you want to support this kind of content, because we want to keep producing it as well, we have a Patreon, we obviously have Twitch. Anything you can do and provide is amazing and helps us do and provide all these amazing streams throughout the year. We've got another one coming up in 2 weeks as well, and a whole bunch more throughout the year that we're ready to set up. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, chuck us a few dollars on Patreon if you can, or give us a follow. Even just sharing our platform, getting it out there really helps us immensely. But enough shilling for now. Let me get back to those players and see where we're at in the turn.
The back goes pretty well there.
Do you measure to the hull or to the base on Raiders?
Hull.
Yeah.
What's the leash on all your orc stuff?
It's pretty much all 7. If it's got a knob, it's 7.
Cool. Alright. That will... Mind if I just adjust their movement quickly?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You haven't rolled any advances, have you? So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yep. Alright. Shooting pace.
Yep.
Let's go. Pretty sure. Just triple check, make sure. Good. Yep, let's go shooting.
I'll put a few dice on my side. I think that's actually one of your dice.
That is one of mine.
I'll put a few of these dice on my side so I can just roll
You're
it
good to
straight
go.
in.
Alright, so we'll start off here.
Yep.
Witches shooting into your knobs.
Yep.
1 grenade, 4 pistols. So 4 pistols on 3s. Sweet.
Speed it up.
And grenade, D6 minimum 3. 4. Hitting on 3s. Awesome.
So this is where the dice doesn't matter in the shooting phase for Drukhari.
It's good to plink off wounds.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
14 shots from the Hellions into them.
Yep.
Hitting on 3s. And poison, so 4s.
Yep.
3 wounds.
Yep. I'll just grab those. Cheers. Yep. 5 ups. Make 1, so 2. So that was on the knob. 1 damage each.
Just 1
Yep.
damage.
So just transfer the wound to the back guy there.
Yep. Alright, the Raider.
Yep.
Dark lands into your kill ring.
Into the kill ring. Yep.
Hitting on 3.
Yep.
8, aren't you?
Yep.
So 4s. It's a wound.
5 ups. Go through.
D3 plus 3.
Yep.
5.
So down to 10.
Yep. This next Raider will do the exact same thing. Just
Yep.
while you're here.
Yep.
3s. Hits.
Yep.
4s. No. Third Raider will do the same thing. Dark
Yep.
lands into there.
Yep.
3s. Hits. 4s. There's a wound.
5 ups. All good. Cool.
Just gets them out of the way. These ladies,
Yep.
pistol and grenade with your storm blitz.
Yep.
So pistol at 3s. Nope. Grenade, D6. 3. Here on 3s. Wounding on 5s.
Yep.
2 at -1.
5 ups. Kills 2.
Yep.
Oh no, I took. They didn't take a mortal, so I don't need to take on the knob.
Yep.
So I'll just pull these guys.
Yep. The other unit of witches will do the same thing.
Yep.
Grenade and 2 pistols. Who took the mortal wound from the...
They didn't take one. I rolled under for them.
for when my venom
No.
exploded?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'll pull another one. Sorry.
That's alright, all good. So the other unit, which is doing the same thing. 2 pistols and a grenade. So
Yep.
pistols, 3s, both hit. And 4s, poisoned, nothing.
Yep.
Grenade, D6. 6. 3. And... 3 wounds.
Yep. Say 1, 2, go through. Sorry, Matt.
No, you're right.
Sorry.
There's 5 left. These Hellions will shoot into them as well.
Yep.
Because they're assault 2 weapons.
Yep.
So 14 shots at -1 to hit.
Yep.
4s. And 4s. 4.
4. 5 up. 4 dice, so there's 1 left.
Cool. That is shooting done. Brings me to charges.
Yep.
Hellions will charge the front.
The commandos? Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that'll do it.
Should be plenty. I'm just going to sit them up here.
Yeah, all good, man. I get what you're doing, mate. It's WTC rules, so it's all good.
Yep. We all know what's going on.
Yeah.
Incubi will charge him.
Yeah.
11. They're all just going to get onto the other side of him here.
Yep.
To make room for those 3 witches.
Yep.
Go for the charge. 5 is going to be a fail. I'm going to command point that one.
You got a command point that one? Yep.
Awesome. Oh, shit.
So I've got you down to 1, just for reference? Yep.
Alright. Brings us over to these shenanigans. The Hellions will charge.
Yeah, the knobs opposite. Yep.
Yep, knobs. So they're going 10.
Yep.
Incubi will charge.
Yep.
10. Draz will charge.
Yep.
Raider will charge.
Yep.
Charge is done.
Yep. Yep. So he's out of heroic now.
All right, so let's just go over that charge phase really quickly because I think it was pretty interesting. As predicted, we've seen a lot of charges this turn out of Drukhari. Only one fail, but an important one because, as has just happened in front of us, that kill rig got to heroically intervene because those witches failed the charge, which is big. It's going to get more movement and potentially start pressuring this objective and everything behind this ruin. So that's pretty scary. You'll have to ignore my NFL-esque playoffs. This is just me reminding myself of what charged. Both units of Hellions have slammed into various units. Commandos over here, probably to just try and contest that objective or knock him off primary. Hellions over here, which is a dedicated push. and Drazar, Incubi just to try and get the fight last, and the Raider as well. Very clever here as well, making sure that we're outside of 3 of that kill rig. And yeah, what do you reckon on this, Sam? Because I don't know if this is going to be enough charging. I still see a lot of Orks that are about to countercharge.
Look, I think it's a lot of Orks that's going to countercharge, but I think you have to do something right. And I think still Jeremy has a lot to countercharge. Just down in the bottom left there on screen, I think that's a great move there by Jeremy in terms of getting the Hellions into the Commandos, because what it'll allow him to do is those Commandos should die to the Hellions. And then allows them to potentially, with Pylons Consolidate, to tag potentially those Gretchen there on the far left, or just potentially just surround the objective and stop that Gretchen getting on there and getting the good bits. And also, it forces Mr. Hugh Titchener to sort of get some Storm Boys or something down in there to the bottom left to try and deal with the Hellions. It's a shame that the Witches on the middle there fail the charge, and as you see, rolling a bunch of like Hellions attacks, it looks like. Which has failed the charge into the Storm Boys, which was still alive, but allow the Curie to heroic. And then those Incubi in the middle are doing their good old thing. So, yeah. And I don't know if you saw any fight lasts or anything like that. Did you see if there's any fight lasts results? I assume the top right should have been resolved.
Yeah, almost certainly that got tormented. What I did just notice, though, is that the Hellions failed to kill 5 Commandos. Because they are, unfortunately, winning on 5s. Into a 5-up invul. So I believe as well the Hellions only charged the front unit of the 2 Commandos down there. So I don't think he was going to get away with any piling consolidates, but that is unfortunate because I believe that will leave that objective in Ork hands if a single Hellion dies, which is pretty sketchy. Otherwise, I believe Fight Last did go off on the top, but we're about to see. Because those knobs would only be about leadership 5. He's got 2 chances to roll a 6+ on 2d6 for the Tormentors on Drazar and the Incubi. I'm actually kind of scared for Drazar at that point. He does look pretty somewhat exposed. And that is a pretty important tool. So I'll be curious to see if Hugh either decides to ignore that flank and kind of ignore Drazar, or if he just commits to doubling down and killing him. So we'll see on that. The Hellions are unfortunate. We'll see how this combat pans out at the top and in the middle.
For his first activation?
Yep.
I'm going to go with his split profile. So it's still 2 damage. It's just strength 5 instead of strength 6.
Yep.
I think it's strength 4 instead of strength 5. So but with a +1, he still falls the wound.
Be on 3s to wound. Did you say what? Strength 5 +1 to wound, or strength 4 +1?
So maybe strength 4 +1.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so 4. Yep.
So hitting on 2s.
Oh, imagine if you had exploding 6.
If only. No, I lied. He is strength 5.
Were you intending to charge them? I'm assuming not. I'm just making sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reroll from his Warlord trait. Cool. He is actually strength 5 with this profile.
Cool. Yeah, so 3s. Yep.
With rerolls, so his Warlord trait. 6 -3.
-3, yep. So I'll just be pulling this way.
Yep.
So save 3 die.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
And he'll use his consolidation to pop up here.
Yep.
I'll fight with the Incubi next.
Yep.
Sixteen attacks. Yep. Hitting on 2s. These are strength 5 with +1 to wound as well.
So 3s. Yep. Are you cool with me helping you, or are you happy? Yeah.
Yep.
So 5 up.
Yep.
2 damage. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Right, so you got to consolidate with the Incubi, and then a pile and consolidate with the Hellions.
And I still got another pile and consolidate with Draz as well, if I really wanted to.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so you can activate it. Yep.
which I don't really want to, but come over here anyways.
Yep.
Gonna stay there. The Hellions will just pile and consolidate up to here.
Yep.
That'll pretty much do me there.
Yep.
And we've just got your commandos over here.
Yep. So I got 9 dice, 5 for the knob, 4 for the regular boy.
And you're here on 3s, aren't you?
Yes.
Minus 1 to hit.
You going to spend the last CP? Yep. Cool. So 4s exploding 6s. So we got a few misses, but we put 1 dice back in.
Yep.
And then I still get the strength from the war, so I'm winning you on a 3. I believe you're teaching
Toughness
all.
4, yeah.
3s, 3, AP 1s.
3, 6 upsets.
Yep.
1 die, 1 takes a wound.
For reference, I'm going to track your no priz on the units you've killed, but not on like half-dead units, if you get what I mean. So you're already on 4.
Yep.
Oh no, not 4, so there'll be 3.
Cool. The rolls.
Yeah, so I'll burn an auto pass, so I want the 4 points of primary. So that's my auto pass done for the game, so I'm down at 3 CP.
Yep.
So scoring wise, so you got 2 for Cup of Ground. You'll get 3 for Bell.
Yep.
And Take Them Alive, you went 1, 2, so 2.
Yep.
All right, cool, man. Clock's on me, fantastic. Oh, no, we're not on round 3 yet. So I get hold 1, hold 2, so hold 2 here.
Yep.
I get a 4 for good bits that complete, but that doesn't affect my possible score for this turn, if you get what I mean. Yep. All right. So we've got 6 up invo now, still got plus strength, plus attack. We don't have advance to charge. All right.
Oh, sorry.
You all right? Oh yeah, true. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. So 6 of the regular attacks. Killry's got a fuck ton of attacks.
Yeah.
So 5 hits, 2s, and then 4.
2, was it?
Yeah, because it's strength 8. Well, no, sorry, it's at least strength 6.
So that's your wound.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, so 5.
5, 6 ups.
Yeah.
Dead.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All
And I think you're closest here, so I won't consolidate because I don't want to go that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, man. All right, cool. So you've got 5 Incubi, Draz, Hellions, 5 Incubi, 2 Witches, 3 Reavers, and then what have we got back here? So we've got a Raider, and that's got Witches in it.
Succubus and Blood Rights.
Yep. We've got
Rax,
Rax,
Witches, Incubi, Reavers.
and then another 3 mana. Yep. All right, cool. Okay, so we'll start my turn. The kill rig is not bracketed.
Nope.
Okay, so that was the end of Jez's turn. We did see some interesting things kick off there. First things first, we had an auto pass morale on the commandos just to try and guarantee 4 primary. Jez obviously scored behind enemy lines. I'm trying to figure out which unit did that. There's a little Reaver unit tucked in here, just so that everyone knows. That scored behind enemy lines for 3 points. Obviously, he's managed to crush that objective there, to score Corrupted Ground, and killed 2 units for Take Them Alive. He's doing pretty well. Orks, at the start of their turn, scored Get the Good Bits from turn 1. So that doesn't count towards the cap on Get the Good Bits this turn. Green Tide will probably score, and Warp Ritual will score this turn. It does concern me that Jez is only running on 1 CP. It means no interrupts, which could be pretty scary. He's kind of got to face the brunt of the Orks now. So we'll see how that kicks on. But the War is slowly dissipating. Only a 6-up invul this turn. No more advance in charge. And I believe he still gets plus on strength. So this will be a really interesting turn to see. I genuinely am concerned. I think we're going to see a lot of Orks come out this turn from those kill reads. And it's really going to be a game of how much Jez has got left to contest and fight. I'm hoping on my boy. I love me Drazza. If he can roll some interesting Tormentors or something happens, there could be an interesting flip or a reversal on a flank, so we'll have to bide our time and see how that happens. What do you reckon, Lemon? How do you reckon this is going?
Yeah, it's a shame that Jeremy doesn't have 2 CP for that counter-offensive interrupt. So that sucks a lot. But look, we'll see. As you said, has to just take the brunt and hope for the best, and see what happens. And now we see like those Beast Snagger boys just down here in the bottom middle, and the kill rig positioning up to go smash some things in the front. But yeah, those Hellions didn't do the job as they were needed to into the Commandos. Look, it looks like he's now falling back with the Commandos. Although he's doing partly consolidate, it's just a bit retrospectively, but it's not a big issue.
Just to note quickly, because it was a bit confusing, the Commandos down in that corner are actually 2 separate units. So
got you.
Jez charged the front unit. The plan was to kill those 5 and then have 6-7 Hellions on the objective. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out that way perfectly. So that objective was still held, which is a bit of a shame for him. But, because one of the things to consider with Orks is now that at T5, those Hellions with Adrenalite are only strength 4. So that's really where the problem came in. He rolled a whole bunch of hits, but only rolled about 4 or 5 wounds. It was a real shame. And then the 5-up inval dissipated.
Rough.
So, yeah, a bit rough.
Yeah, rough.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but as Ducky said in chat, though, so the Orcs player does need to be careful about the Incubi and Drazar, because obviously if they fail a leadership check, then Drukhari will fight before them, even though they charge. So you'll get at least 1 activation, potentially, with the fight first and fight last mitigating to make them fight normal. So, and look, I don't know about you, but I don't want Drazar or Incubi smashing me in the face before I get to attack them back, because they will do some crumping.
It depends entirely on which perspective of that you're from. I am a Drukhari player. That's what I played pretty much all through ITC last year. And I, for one, love Drazar doing that when it's my Drazar. So yeah, the crackback for the opponent's obviously rough. That is a beautiful Zagstruck medal. Do you see that over in the corner there?
I do indeed. That's a very flappy boy Zagstruck. That's some almost like Iron Man-esque. What's the dude?
Vulture.
He... was the Iron Wings? Falcon something? Whatever. As you can tell, I'm a big Marvel fan.
Yeah.
There we go.
Marvel Phase 4. Hell of a drug.
So yes. And now you see like all the Orcs are moving. So look, interesting. So he's just moving the kill rig, not disembarking the boys. It looks like from that kill rig just yet. Maybe he is just retrospectively.
Yeah, I think he's...
Patience?
Good. Yeah. No, maybe not. Who knows? Always hard
Maybe
to tell
not.
Orcs. So this will be a really pivotal turn, as every turn in this matchup will be, as goes with saying for a combat-based matchup. Drazar, the other way to get around Drazar, and another important note, is if Drazar makes a unit fight last, he only gets 1 of his fight phases before the Orcs get to activate. So it's not a full Drazar, it's only 1 of his rounds, which is still a lot of damage, but it's not the full 14 or 10 attacks from Draz. So that is interesting, and it does mean that he has to pick which unit he wants to fight with. One of the big problems with Tormentors... One of the big problems I've always found with Tormentors as the Druk player is if people are on the charge, it means that if they multi-charge... W for Purges, I will point him out. Drazar is right there if you see my little blue circle. He's patiently sitting on what looks like the middle of an objective, trying to tempt anything. And that's a really good move from Jez, because Draz is on a 40 mil base. Anything that goes onto that objective, if everything else dies, he can heroically intervene into. And let me tell you, Drazar, when he heroically intervenes, is a drug. Because when you heroically intervene, you don't have the same charge restrictions as when you charge. You can fight anything you're in combat with. So Draz can fight something, pile in, consolidate, fight something, kill it, then pile in, consolidate into another unit. So he can go on an absolute terror rampage if a heroic happens. So that's just another thing to keep in mind if you ever play against Drukhari. Unless you're playing against me, in which case, let me do it. We're going to see a big... I think we're just going to see a big Orc push this turn. If those... I'm a bit concerned that if... Where are they? If these Hellions get cleared off, which I don't think is going to be a big problem, I think they're going to get deleted pretty effectively. We might start seeing Druk get too thin on the ground. Oh, wonderful. Always nice to see more Drukhari players floating around in the various chats. But yeah, I'm pretty concerned. Obviously, there is some stuff still in those 3 raiders, but I'm still seeing a lot of Orks. I'm pretty scared, and I genuinely think that the secondary matchup does favor Orks, especially going second. It's really going to be a game of how well Jez can actually deny primary off Hugh for a couple more turns, and how well he can leverage his primary. So I think what we'll do soon is we're going to switch back to the players, just to get an idea of where they're at, and maybe get some insight from Hugh as to how he's moving. But any questions, tribulations, comments before we do that, Sam?
Yeah, it's funny. So I did some research in the background. So our good friends at statcheck.com. So shout out to them. And if you guys ever want to look at some of the statistics behind competitive 40k, always look at them. So I did a bit of digging, young Jack. What do you think is the win rate for Goth Orks into Drukhari? What do you feel like? What's your presumption?
I know my personal win rate is 0. So my presumption is probably something around 33% to Drukhari, 66, but I'd lean maybe that it's higher for Orks. So what do you reckon?
Would you be surprised, Jack? You're probably just tanking it then, because actually Goths had a losing win rate into Drukhari. So of the 20 games played, Goth Orks have only won 37% of the time. So look, obviously not the biggest statistic in the world, but that's interesting, and I think maybe so 20 games played.
Okay, that's still a significant amount.
Yeah, and that's Goth Orks in particular as well. So also you can't see the Drukhari subfaction, but good to note as well. So look, we'll see what happens. Statistics are there as an informant for sure. They're not always accurate for sure in terms of like each little game is very unique and different. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously that's interesting. Thank you, Sam. You've confirmed that I'm actually a terrible Drukhari player. Right onto the internet, so that's great. Turns out I am just bad into Orks. But yeah, I'm curious to see if Jez can pull it off. Hopefully he can keep that win rate strong, but who knows? I mean, this is still anyone's game, and I do think that's a really important note. It won't be around till turn 4 that I think we're going to start seeing a major advantage pushing through. So let's cut to the players, see where they're at in the turn, and go from there.
Goes off? Yep. One mortal. Yellow Kilreed. Spirit of Goff and Squiggly Curse. One thing I love about playing on a clock, I never get stressed like using a lot of time because my opponent's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah.
Squiggly Curse, what's the range? 12. Leave it? No. I'll just cast on the Incubi in front of him.
Yeah.
So basically I roll 3 dice on 4 if I take mortals. So 3 mortals on the Incubi.
Did you cast it?
Oh no, I did, because I rolled the 6 before. Yeah.
So 3 mortals on the Incubi?
Yeah. And then he will rip a smite, so that'll be on the Incubi as well. Goes off on a 6. Yep. My second smite. So is he on wounds?
2, yeah.
2, okay. So he's dead. And then Red Rig. Frazzle and... Oh, Frazzle's actually not bad here. So Frazzle will hit... That'll hit Drax, the Incubi, if it goes off. Casts spell first, goes off. So each enemy unit within 9 inches on a 4-up takes D3. So... Is that Raider in there within 9?
The Raider will be?
Yeah.
Definitely.
The Reavers?
I'm not sure.
Look, I don't think so. That's close enough.
Doesn't look like it, no.
Yeah. So it'll be both Raiders,
Yep.
the Incubi and Draz. So I'll start with this Raider.
Yep.
4-up. Yep. D3. Takes 2.
Yep.
This Raider here. Does it? The Incubi. Does it? Drazar. Does. So D3. Draz takes 2 mortals. And I'll go for my third smite, so I need this on a 7 into the Raider. Yep. Does not go off. Not going to waste CP on that. Alright, cool. So we've got all the rig spells off. Alright, he's going to shoot him there. He's going to pop. I'm going to put the word tower. I'm going to put everything into the Hellions except the sticker cannon. That will go into the raider next to him because he's out of range.
Yep.
So sticker cannon, are you neg 1 to hit?
No.
Okay, so on 5s, I do re-roll against monsters and vehicles. Yep, so hits, 3s, wounds, AP 3, flat 3,
5 up.
you good? And then so heavy lobber and word tower into the Hellions. So heavy lobber, min 3, gets 3. Are these guys neg 1 to hit at all? So no hits. And then the word tower, oh no, I just get max shots because they're over 6 miles.
Correct, yep.
So it'd be 2s to strike 9.
Yep.
So 3 saves.
6 ups. 2 die.
Yep.
How many wounds are they? It's D6, so 1, 2.
Did I do something wrong, or are we good, or? Okay, cool, yeah, sorry. So that rig shot, this rig here, he will go with the same thing, but he'll go sticker cannon into this raider. So heavy lobber and word tower into the rig, Hellions.
Yep.
So sticker cannon hits. Does not wound.
Nope.
And then the heavy lobber, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D6, 6,
Cool.
5. Nothing. And then the word tower, I have to roll now. 1. Does not wound. And then we will go this rig. He hasn't taken any wounds, has he?
Correct.
We'll just dump everything into him.
Yep.
So, or do I want to kill those witches? Now this rig will put everything into that raider.
Yep.
So word tower, D3, or so 3.
Yep.
3's 2.
2 5 ups. Nope.
D6, I can roll them. I'll see what the first one is. 6, 3.
Goes down to 1.
Do I want to re-roll that 3? No, I'm not going to do it. And then the sticker cannon.
Yep.
That does hit because I'm touching the forest.
Yep.
And then wounding on a 3. Yep, wounds.
5 up. Yep.
Good. And then the heavy lobber, D6. 6. 5s. And that'll be T6. Oh, it doesn't matter, he's strength 6. So 2 wounds, AP 2, damage 2.
5 ups.
Yep.
Fails 1, so he dies. See if he explodes. Yes,
does.
he does.
Is this 1 or more? This is 1.
D3.
Oh, D3, cool.
So 6 inch D3, so we'll start with your kill rig.
Kill rig, yep.
2.
2, yep. And
And
then
I'm pretty sure it's just my 3 units there.
Zag Struck in 6. No, Zag Struck is within 6.
He is or?
Yeah, he is.
So Zag struck. 2.
2, he's got 2 pain. He takes 1, so he's...
I'll just leave that 5 on him. Yep.
and you put 2 on the kill rig, didn't you?
Yep. Did. Draz takes 2. Of course he does. You muppet. Incubi. 2. Is them rolling consistent here. And Helens. 2. Literally everyone took 2 mortal wounds. Okay. Impressive.
Just a big thing there. That's a massive explosion on that raider. 2 mortal wounds to Zagstruck doesn't really matter. He only took 1 from his Feel No Pain. Putting 2 wounds on Draz is always a massive win for Orks. And even like only taking 2 from the kill rig, that's huge. That really favors Orks there. So bit unfortunate for Jez there. Obviously would have preferred that not to happen, as I think he commented. Draz has taken 4 mortal wounds this turn. So yeah, Draz is slowly dying, and I must admit that's quite the tactic to kill Draz with mortal wounds. So hopefully we get to see a bit more of my boy. I definitely love it when he gets to rip and tear, but at this point it might look like he's going down this turn. What do you reckon about that?
I mean, hopefully he can rip some before he goes down. So, I mean, there's still a charge to happen, and that's basically all the shooting. So, hopefully he gets a lethal tormentors off and just fights last something and then kills some things on the way out.
Is it actually called Lethal Tormentors? The strategy. I've always just called it Tormentors. I wasn't aware that it was lethal. That's interesting. Shows how much I read my rulebook. But yeah, we'll see. So the charge seems to have gone off. He's gotten something into combat with Draz. So I'm going to switch back because I want to see that Tormentors rolled.
Five witches.
Yep.
2 die.
You can clock back to me, man. I'll start rolling. So Zag Shock will shoot his blitz missiles into the incubi.
Yep.
D3. 3. Hitting on 5s. T3 or T4?
T3.
T3. So 2 wounds.
They automatically hit you, they?
No, I'm an idiot. 1 hit. You're a clown here. 1 hit. Apologies, Jeremy.
AP.
Roll the save and I'll tell you, I think it's like AP1. So I'll just double check that real quick. Yeah, AP1. Yes,
Yep, if I pass the 3
Yep.
armor.
Alright, cool. So, charge phase.
Yeah.
Boys, we'll just start straight into the racks.
Yep.
I want more movement, even though I can't fail. And I am very lucky that you do not, have fucking liquefiers, because that's something I really should have checked for before I went for that charge. Make sure, so they are on the bottom floor, but I'm just going to make sure that what I'm simulating is, yeah, because these guys, sorry, I'll distribute that dice map. Yeah. All right. Other charges. So, the other 5 commandos into the Hellions.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, you're literally right there, so yeah, that's easy. Here, where do I want to spend the rammers? There's this really awkward interaction here, whereas if I ramming speed you there, I can kill the guys and I think I can heroic into me. So, Zag Shock will just go into these girls here on the bikes. So, 5. Actually, this has got to go. He goes through. No, I actually think I need more than 5. Yeah, I'm good. Because he's still got to be able to fit, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's get there. So he's on 5 wounds.
Correct.
1 girl on 1. Then that kill rig will just charge the radar, 1 ramming speed. This purple one here. And then yellow kill rig will charge the girls in the middle.
Yep.
So a 6 will still do it because even though I'm going to need 2. Oops, sorry. War boss will charge you guys on bikes. It's good. I'll just I can just hit them through the wall, so I'll just stay there. Those Storm Boys. Storm Boys will charge the Hellions.
Yep.
Yep, that's sweet. And do I want to ram and speed you? Can't hit the radar through the wall. How many wounds is here? 3 or 4?
There's 4 wounds in total. For the first 2 guys, those 2 guys have 1 wound each.
Yeah.
2 wounds.
Yeah, so I'm going to regular charge you with that kill ring. I'm not going to random speed it. So 7. I reckon I need an 8 because I've got to get slightly around that. Yep. You're cool with that? Yeah, so I just 7 was in range, but to actually get in range. And then he can't heroic through models, I'm assuming, so we're good there. All right, cool. So we've got the rack interrupt is probably, I'm just trying to think of any other charges. Oh, the truck will just charge your Helens.
I've only got 1 CP anyways.
Yeah, that's all good. Cool. So you will go for your tormenting on me here.
Leadership.
It'll be 7, so it'll be down to. Oh no, it'll just be 7. Yeah.
So no, you get to fight normal.
I think we go with the boys first because I just need to make sure I control that point. Yep. Are you cool with me just fighting them as is? Because it's a full 10-man, so I know what's there. Yeah. So I'll just. Yeah, because I'll fight and then I'll get as many on checks as I can.
Yep, all good.
So I'll swing with the power snapper first. So 4 attacks, 3 hits, and then this is strength 8.
Toughness 4.
Yep. So 3 wounds, AP 2, damage 2.
3 6-ups.
Do you mind if we start rolling the other attacks? I doubt it. Oh, yeah, you roll.
So 3 6-ups, and then these are 2 damage each of it.
Yes.
So I got 5 Finno Pains. So first one dies, second one dies, third one dies.
3. So this is 5 guys, and I'll roll 4.
Yeah.
3 is exploding 6s. That dice is not part of the rolling hit dice. 1, 2 6s. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I'll just take 2 dice from there, put them in. And then these will be winning you on 3s.
Yep.
Yep. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 AP 1, damage 1.
6s and then followed by 5s.
Yep.
6s, pass 1, and 5. Dead.
Yep. Cool. So I will tag the raider, so I'll pop some combat from it, just so I can't shoot next to
Watch
him.
out, he's got 3 decks.
You never know. So then I'll just put them around. Then I've got 2 guys here, they're on the ground floor. Alright, we'll go next with the kill rig into the raider. So 6 attacks, 7 attacks with main weapons for Noir. So I hit you on 2s because you're a vehicle, and I get 2 exploding 6s, so 8 hits. This will be on 3s. So 4 AP2 damage 2.
4 5-ups. Fail them all, I'm dead.
Yep.
See if I blow up. Nope. I'll switch over to me while I get them out for you.
Yep. Thank you, man. Quick.
10 guys got out.
Yep.
See who dies. 2 die. Seems to be a common theme here. 2 dying. Alright. Go for it.
Thank you, man. So I'm going to roll the war bosses for the guys on bikes because it's semi-important. 2 misses. So then you know how brutal with cunning works, yeah? So I'll put them aside because they didn't hit. I get a 6 though. That counts for the brutal with cunning. 2s. So 5 AP3 damage 3.
6s.
Yeah, cool. They're dead. Here we'll just go close to the more, so just go a little bit that way. 2 Stormboys are out, rest are in. I'll roll the power claw first.
Yep.
So 4 attacks, 4s, exploding 6s, 2 misses, but I rolled a 6, so 3 hits. 2s, 1, AP2 damage, AP3 damage too.
6 up.
Yep. 3-4, 3-4. So I'll roll 4 guys, then 5. That was not a roll. 3 exploding 6s. Got 2, 4. So 4 dice go back in.
Yep. All good.
And we'll be on 3s. Yep, 2, 4, 7. AP 1 damage 1.
6s. So 3 die, 1 takes a wound. All good.
So then I've got the other 4 guys. And then 1, 6.
Yep.
3s. So 2, 4, 6, 10.
Dead.
I'll roll Zag Strike into these bikes whilst you're doing that.
Yep, go for it.
So 2.
How many attacks has he got?
He's going to have 7 attacks with his big weapon, which will be AP2 flat 3, and then he'll have 1 chopper attack. It hits on 2s, loading 6s.
I'll lightning fast them.
Okay, cool.
I'll do it, Matt as well.
Yeah, I'll roll the chopper first. The chopper misses.
Cool.
So now the 7 big attacks, and I get 2 6s, so I just get 7 hits.
Yep.
2s. So that is, 6, AP, no, I think it's AP3, but I mean, does it matter if it's AP2 or if it's AP3? Yeah, and flat 3.
Dead. Yep, that's cool.
And I'll roll the middle kill rig into those girls on the objective. 7 attacks. Which is neg 1 to hit in combat?
No.
Oh, it doesn't matter because I did roll a 3.
Sorry about that.
2s. 4 saves on the witches. And then I've got more attacks after that.
4 ups. Dead. Got
Yep.
2 there.
And then there's kill rig into the incubi. The Draz might actually go into the field. It's kind of awkward. 7 attacks with big weapon. 2 explodes. Yep. Then 2s. So you got 6, 5 at AP2 damage shoot to start.
5 ups. 3, yep, that's them dead. Cool.
Then the truck will activate. Should have ran me speed. The truck 3 hits, nothing. Then you can start hitting me back. I think, because we fought here.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll just consult, whilst you do that, I'll just consolidate the Stormboys a fraction. And the blue commandos will just sit here.
You consolidated into this raider, didn't you?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So I'll
you
do
get
him
him
first.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah.
4s. 3s. There's a wound on your beast naggers.
Yep. Taking on the knob.
Yep.
He's taking a wound, so he's down to 1.
And into the truck. You can
Yep.
just consolidate them in for
Yeah,
me.
cool, man.
Chance. 3s.
So I've got them all on the objective, but they're all available to hit.
And 5s. Nothing.
Nothing. All right.
Awesome.
And
I believe that's the end of your turn.
yep.
2.
So I'll get another 4 for good bits, so it'll take me to 8.
Yep.
I'll get 3 for tied, because 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And I got 2 for corrupted ground.
Yep.
All right, over to you, mate. So top of 3. So, Fox.
How many CP do you have?
I didn't spend any that turn, so I will be on 4 at the top of this turn. And then, because I thought about commander roll a couple psychics, but didn't. So you're going to hold 1.
Yep.
It's time to get back into the sultry voice of Sam and me because we have some score updates. So, Sam, while I'm punching those in, I think it's safe to say that that might have been the turn that cinched it for the Orks. This is going to be this is a rough spot. I'm not seeing much Dark Eldar left, and I'm not seeing them in particularly good position.
No, I mean, Jazza can kill a lot, but I don't know if you can kill 3 kill rigs, a lot of Storm Boys, and everything else as well. It's a bit looking not the greatest. But look, I think Jeremy is a good player, so I think he'll try and claw back and see where he can go from here. So it looks like all the transports bar 1 with the radar have gone, and yeah, it's very, very rough. Yeah, see where we can go from here, honestly. See where we go from here. And it was very smart, obviously, for Hugh by getting the Reaver jet bikes to stop behind him in lines and just kill little bits by bits. Like, the Drukhari will punch up and kill a bunch of the smaller traff, but Hugh's in a really, really good position now to actually take this game away.
And an important note as well is, as we're starting to see the green-silver tide is beginning to get into motion, those secondaries are kind of out of control right now. So Warp Ritual's going to be uncontested. We could almost pencil that in as 12 now, and I'd be pretty safe in saying that. Obviously, scoring an 8th primary on turn 2 is a big deal for Hugh, so he's sitting at 12 primary currently. And yeah, those secondaries are just bloating out. So what are we sitting at? 27, 33 points currently. So going into Jez's turn, once I update Jez's score in total, it still looks like Orks are now all of a sudden ahead. And if you're ahead going second, you've got to be cheering right now. This is, so 21-24 is currently quite ahead. And I don't think Jez really has a way to kind of score any more behind enemy lines without doing some really interesting jank. Take Them Alive will score passively, which is good, and so will No Prisoners, so he'll get some points, but this is looking rough. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, and also I think maybe we can try and chat and see. So generally, so FYI, just people who are aware, obviously we're just commentating the games. We're not trying to interrupt the players at all. We'll check on the get to good bits. I think it's actually only a 6 because with the commanders are complete at the start of the command phase, and they can only max 6 per turn. So I don't think it's going to make a difference at all. I think Hugh's going to max that out anyways, but just we can double check that for sure as well.
Yeah,
as long as it doesn't interrupt the game at all.
I will get some clarification on that quickly from the TOs, because I do believe they had a conversation on stream about how get the good bits counts for turn 1 or something. I'm not sure if that's how that works, so I'm going to get clarification from the TOs just so we can give you the best information possible. Both of them seem to agree that that's how that worked, so I'm not sure if it scores based on when you did the action or when it actually completes. But we'll get clarification on that. Otherwise, what we're really staring at seems to be like Jez just scraping points right now. He might try and take this kill rig out, which will be a brave task. One of the things that is viciously underrated in this matchup is Ramshackle on all of the vehicles. So Ramshackle is -1 damage if the attack is less than Strength 8. And the only thing that is Strength 8 in the Drukhari Codex, to my knowledge, is Talos Gauntlets and Heat Lancers and Dark Lancers. So basically Jez has a single weapon that isn't -1 damage, and a lot of his weapons are 2 damage. So taking out a kill rig is no mean feat. One of the advantages Jez will have now is that this turn, I believe, is the end of the war. So all of a sudden now the Orks are out of war, so that's like kind of a nice benefit, if you will, but I don't know if it's going to contribute too much. So what we're going to do is switch back over, see what Jez has got planned up his sleeves, and go from there. Because I'll get that clarification for the chat just to see how Get the Good Bits works. And we'll go from there. Okay. Looks like we got a bit of a lull just in the meantime, but what I can describe quickly is We're seeing Blood Brides, which are a pretty lethal unit, popping out, probably to try and contest. What they're probably going to hope is that they can clear up the Orks down here and then tag the Gretchen, if they can. Because no escape on Gretchen's a really good deal. That'll be able to lock him down for a turn, stop, get the good bits, and also keep Jez in combat, which is really important for the shooting, and to hold some desperate primary while he still can. Otherwise, what we're seeing is Draz is probably going to just take out... Maybe Draz goes for a hero play and tries to take out a kill rig, as we've all been wanting and demanding. It is dangerous. Normally what you like with Draz is another unit around, so you can charge both and then pile into the other unit to stay out of the kill rig range. But unfortunately, if he goes into the kill rig, that will probably be the end of him if he doesn't kill it. And even then, it could explode. There's a whole bunch that could happen. I believe that one's also still got poison in it, which would mean that it's a bad idea.
Yes.
Which means it's a bad idea from an OBSEC perspective, because that would give Orks the big 12 primary. Down in the bottom, it seems that there isn't a massing force going for this kill rig here. I'd like to see if there's anything that can take out Zagstruck. I don't know if there is, because he will be a perpetual problem for the Drukhari going forward. Zagstruck's an absolute beast. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this turn transpires. No behind enemy lines. I don't think we're going to see any more behind, because there's just nothing close enough, at least for a couple of turns, to get in there. The Hellions? No, there's nothing to charge. He's done a really good job of not leaving units here for Drukhari to charge. So the nearest charge point is here, because the Hellions can fall back and charge for free. That's a data sheet ability for them. You don't have to spend CP. So if there's a unit here, he could get Cheeky Bell. Fortunately, there isn't. They're not particularly good into either of the trucks, because they're only 1 damage and neg 1. So maybe I'd almost argue that sending them down here to go deal with Zagstruck's not a bad idea. They have a pretty good profile into Zag, other than they're winning on 5s. This is also a big turn for Drukhari, because as much as Orks are out of their war, Drukhari have just getting started with their power from pain. So for those that don't play Drukhari at all, I'll give you a quick rundown on how power from pain works. Basically, in this edition, every single turn Drukhari get an additional rule to represent that as the battle goes on, they're getting more and more power from the pain they're inflicting. The first turn's pretty good. It's a 6-up invul army-wide, which doesn't sound like much, but it can be pretty intricate, pretty tricky, and there's a whole bunch of situations for that. Then moving forward, turn 2, they get advance and charge, which is arguably the best one in the suite. That's what gives Drukhari that massive blitz ability on turn 2, just to full send and actually commit pressure on a lot of armies. Turn 3, which we're currently on now, is +1 to hit and melee. So pretty much army-wide, the army now hits on 2s in combat, which is nice for keeping that consistency and not meaning that you accidentally drop a couple of hits here and there. Also really relevant on the characters, because they get over a -1 to hit in combat, which is quite prevalent at the moment. And then turn 4 is also pretty nice from a survivability perspective. It's just a 5-up invul army-wide. So that's pretty cool. And turn 5 is Fearless, which often doesn't come up, but it is quite relevant for those weird, scrappy moments in a game. Oh, hang on. It appears there might be a unit tucked under that ruin. So I think Jez just spotted potentially an option to fall back with the Hellions and then charge into that unit to go get behind enemy lines. So we'll see how that all works out. I don't think he can do it with there. And he doesn't have CP to do anything weird like Fire and Fade or anything like that. So what we'll do is we'll cut over to them for that, because I'm curious to see what he's thinking up.
Weapon you forgot in the Drukhari Codex. Do you have any idea what you may have forgot?
Give me a sec. So what did I have? Oh, blasters, of course. Yes.
Well, that's one as well. But the Hubble Pulse Disintegrator, buddy, the Tantalus.
Oh,
How could you forget the Tantalus?
And the Reaper as well, funnily enough. Technically as well in the Drukhari Codex, you can take a Wraith Cannon. So there's a few.
Let's go back to the players.
Yeah, let's get back to the players.
Draz will advance.
Suck a dick, Dave.
He's loving it. Your table edge is that one, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I thought they're deep strike anyway, aren't they? You said they were deep strike, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just thinking for Bell or anything? Yeah.
No, I'm just completely forgetting how to use
Oh, no, that's all right. Yeah, because that's why I checked. I'm like, oh, straight reserve or deep strike.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Just making sure you know what I'm doing.
Right. Yep. No empty venoms next round, man.
I have to say, that was pretty impressive.
I would have been a massive see you next Tuesday if I said no, it's destroyed.
Just get them all into there. Don't do it, just go there.
Yep.
Alright, that'll do for movement. Let's go shooting.
Yep. I'm assuming the raiders that can't fall back and shoot, unless you get
As I spend CP.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're on one, I believe?
Correct.
Yeah.
of course, the only shooting I've really got is the mandrakes shooting the Stormboys.
Yep.
10 shots.
Yep.
Hitting on 3s.
Yep.
Now, me there on the next roll,
Pretty
guys.
good. And fires, I'm assuming.
Fours, winning on 5s, 6s and mortals in addition.
So 3 wounds, 2 mortals.
3 wounds, 2 mortals, and then -1 AP.
Yep. I will roll. This is on a regular guy. Kills him. Regular guy. Kills him. Regular guy saves it. And then I'll take the 2. Do I? I can allocate wounds to the mortals to the knob now, can't I? Even though it's will save the regular. Yeah, so I'll kill 3 in total, including the knob. Yeah, there we go.
That's pretty much the end of shooting, because everything else either fell back or I'll just shoot those ladies into your truck. 2 pistols and a grenade.
Yep.
So grenade, 6, 3s, and 5s.
Strength 3, I'm assuming.
Strength 4.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, sorry, of course strength 4. Yeah,
2 -1.
So 5 up. Takes 2, so he's down to 8.
2 pistols and 3s. And 6. Nope. Brings me to charges. Succubus into.
Yeah, obviously not going to work.
Hellions into truck.
Where do you want them?
I'll come and move them in a second.
Okay, cool. I was going to. Yeah, you're right, man.
Those 2 units are just technical. I
Yep.
have to sort that out.
No, you're right. Sorry?
Actually, yeah, just bring I'll come around actually.
Yeah, all right.
I'll come around. Drowsy charge.
Yep. Yep. Ripperoni truck. Please drop blow up truck.
So the main way Draz dies is always just, mortal wounds everywhere. Blood brides, charge.
Just the 5 commando?
Yep. 5? Yep.
Looks good.
Hey. Incubi charging Beast Nagus.
Yep.
7.
Oh, actually, as well, with Corrupted Ground, I realised because I held your home objective at the end of the turn, you will lose one and I get a 4 instead of a 2. Yeah. So I'm just going to put that, go back on my round 2.
Jack stole my book.
No, that's all right. So I'll just give you 1 for Corrupted Ground this turn. You're guaranteed to get this one. But yeah.
Yep. Witch is charging in there as well.
Yep.
11.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Let's put that down there now. 1 for Corrupted Ground for me.
Yeah. And I would have got 4 last turn instead of 2.
Yep. Beautiful. The charge is done. Tormentors.
Yep.
Alright, these ones over here.
Yep.
So you're -1 leadership, which brings you down to
6, because the knob's still alive. Whoa! Oh! I reckon you're good. Oh, wait, no, because you got to beat it. Yeah, sorry.
Pretty sure I got a beat. I'll just triple check. Yeah, greater than.
Yep.
Okay. That's 6 things around me. I'll just do dresses as well. No.
I'm deaf. No, that will. Is he neg 1 leadership? I mean, I'm not going to interrupt with the truck anyway, so it doesn't.
Fighting. I've got to start with the succubus.
Yeah, so I've got 4 CP as well, so I can fight on death and I can interrupt after it as well.
That's fine. So she's got 10 attacks.
Yep.
Hitting on 2s.
Yep.
Every 6 is mortal wounds instead. Oh, sorry, every 6 is 2 mortal wounds instead.
Yep.
2s.
Is that the attack sequence ends after that? Yep.
And then 2 wound. They're poison 2+.
Yep. I'll just roll those, man, if you want to pull.
AP 2 damage.
-3 AP 2 damage. All right.
Mortal wounds after.
Yep, I'll just roll the fight to start off. So he takes 2 there, so he's down to 3. Yeah, I'll roll it all again.
Yep.
So he's down to 3. He's dead. Yep. So I'll 2 CP. Fight on Deathius.
Yep.
So 6 attacks, -1 to hit. This will be 6 hits. This is the big swing, and I'll do the chopper. And then 2s. So that many AP 3, damage 2. So 5.
4 commandables. So that's 4 damage.
Yep. And then the chopper.
Yep.
Hits. Wounds.
4 up. She's alive.
She's good. Yep,
Cool.
so Zaggy's dead. That's 3 for taking a lot.
Yes, it is.
And then do I want to interrupt? I will definitely interrupt here because I've got a full unit. So if you just want to clock over to me if you haven't already.
Yep.
So that'll take me to 0 CP. So this is, I'll basically just split the attacks 50-50, right? So I'll put 5 guys into the incubi.
The incubi will be -1 to hit.
Yep, and then the power snapper and 4 choppers into the other one. So I'll do the power snapper and then the 4 choppers into the witches. So the power snapper. Neg 1 to hit at all. It doesn't matter. 4 hits.
Yep.
2s. So 4 on the witches.
4 ups. 2 die.
Yep. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys after that.
Yep.
So 3's exploding 6s. Yep. And 2 6s. So grab 2 dice.
Yep.
Oh. 1, 2. This will be, I've still got the strength, so it'll still be 2s. So, okay, they all wound. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14 on the witches.
Here's 10.
Yep. Yep.
There's only 1 left.
And then I'll roll into the incubi.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Neg 1 to hit, so 4s, but 6s still explode. And then we've got 3 6s, so I'll put 3 dice back in. And these will be on 3s. So that many AP 1s on the incubi. So 2, 4, 6, 9.
4 ups. Dead.
Alright, cool.
Awesome.
Do you want to just do your pile and then I'll pick up the commandos? if they're going to die.
Basically, going to at least get at least one
Yeah, on you.
fighting objective. These are just going to be coming around this way. Yep.
Yeah, then you activate. And then
I have a billion attacks there.
yeah, I know what they do.
Yep.
They were dead. And then the truck. Do you just want to just roll Draz first, and like he's probably going to kill it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So doing his 3 damage profile. So hitting on 2s. I'll hit. Hitting on 4s with his +1.
Yeah.
What's your toughness?
6. So if you 3s, if you use the big one, 100%.
Pretty sure he's strength 6 with it. I'll just triple check.
You said before, man, I'm going to play it as 3s.
Yeah, it is +2.
Yeah.
So yep. So 3 wounds with rerolls. Has he got 1 at -4, 3 at -3?
It doesn't matter, so it's just, are they all the same damage? Yeah, so just 6 up and goes. Yep. So it takes 3, so what's he?
It's going to be 6 damage total, including
So
your
he's down
-1.
2. Yeah, no, you'll do enough. I'll pull him from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you mind if I'll just roll for the explosion?
Go for it.
No, that's good. So you max take him alive for this turn? Yeah, I just checked. You don't lose the point until the end of your turn, but you're still going to lose it because you still hold the objective. Sorry? Glue? I have super glue somewhere here. I'll get it. Hold on. So I got you 5 for taking this turn to put you up to 7.
Yep.
No bell and no priz. Like, it's going to be pretty high, but I'm just going to score at the end of the game next, or we start losing track. Yeah.
I did get.
Oh, sorry, you did get bell. Sorry, I forgot about the Madrex. My bad. That's why it's good when we both score, otherwise I forget. All right, over to me. Yep. So I hold 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And, all right. Going to CP, so I spent a shit ton that turn. And you didn't spend any, did you? So you've got 1, 2.
I spent 1.
Oh, true, yeah. Yeah, so you're on 1. So we're both on 1. Alright, can't good bits here because obviously you hold the objective. I've got no way to get you off it. Basically just, I've got plenty of movement there. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yep. Those commandos will line up. Those grots are going to look menacingly at you. Fuck, I might shoot grots if you've got time.
Fight me. Charge me. Do it.
I will charge you, but I'm going to shoot 20 grots at you first. Because I've got nothing else.
This is like the one time that I'll actually do damage.
Dude, you know what's funny, right? Every time I'm like, if I'm shooting with Orks aside in the work tower, I feel like I'm losing the game. If I'm morale on these guys. So they lock 3, including the knob.
Yep.
So 4, so they will fail.
Yep.
So, and then the rest will fleet. I'll roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice on 1s.
Yep.
All good. Yeah, so it's just a 1. Surprised Dark Eldar don't have like a fail morale secondary, or do you?
No, nothing like that, unfortunately. It'd be nice. But...
Okay. Well, that is an interesting turn of affairs. One of the things that I will just correct quickly there is Doug. The ad not very good. It's 1 victory point whenever your opponent falls back or fails morale, and then whenever you kill a unit, if you roll above their legend 2d6, you also get a victory point. So it's situational. It can be nice, but often with Drukhari, you very rarely want to have people fall back because that they survive your combat. In terms of how this turn's playing out, Orks just got a 12 primary, so that's concerning. However, Get the Good Bits has kind of been denied all of a sudden. So maybe we might see I don't think it's going to be denied for any more than one turn because I think there's 10 boys down there comfortably going to pick up some blood rides this turn. So that's a bit concerning there. Green Tide is still going to be scoring somewhat. I think it might only be in 2 quarters this turn, and Ritual will probably be this turn. So we're looking at Orks starting to rampage up that primary win. In terms of Jez, he scored pretty well, but unfortunately he doesn't hold his backfield check. Meant that he got 2 for Corrupted Ground, but also lost a point on Corrupted for not holding his. Sam, why don't you take over for a bit and have a run? What do you reckon this is looking like? Because Jez is scoring points, but it looks like the Orks are steamrolling.
Yeah, look, Jez is trying to do as best as he can, trying to kill some stuff. Like, it was nice to Succubus still is alive on 1 wound and killed Zagstruck, so Zagstruck isn't there for the day. But look, Hugh's got so much stuff now. Like, yes, the wild's now officially ended, but look, it's just so many bodies now, and I don't know if the Drukhari has the volume to deal with it all. And now he's about to, and the 3 kill rigs are still alive, right? So Psychic's basically uninterrupted, and he can mortal wound bomb and just shoot to his heart's content, Hugh. I don't know about you, Jack, but I thought guns were banned in Australia, but Hugh Titchener is showing those guns off live on camera, and so apologies, everybody. Like, oh, what a sexy human being, looking all good on stream. Part of the reason is definitely why we have it on stream.
Why would we ever apologize for that? Are you kidding me? That's like 80% of the reason we watch streams.
Yeah,
I love it. So we'll probably cut back to them just to see how everything's going and go from there. Because it looks like we're moving into the end of turn 3, and it looks like it's going to be a couple of very quick turns, depending on how this goes.
Okay, we can see the radar. Cool. Psychic phase. I'll just advance the war boss. Just going to go over here, pretty much. Psychic phase. Weird Boy Warp Ritual again. Goes off. So that's 12. Yellow Kill Ring will smite the Hellions. Goes off on 6.
Yep.
D3. 3.
Kill. Come and chuck that. Do that furthest guy.
This guy?
Yep.
Yep.
That one. Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. And who do you want it on, or does it?
On the closest guy to me.
Closest guy to you? Yeah, cool. Kill rig. Yellow kill rig is Spirit of Pork, Squiggly Curse. I'll slap a Squiggly Curse on him if it goes off. It does. Well, it doesn't matter what the other one is. 4 times 7. Roll 3 dice on a 4. Take a mortal wound. 2 mortals again on these guys. So where do you want the wound to go?
Onto the furthest guy away from me. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. And then this kill rig will... He will go for a frazzle. Does not go off. It's 7. He'll smite Draz. Does not go off. That's okay. And then we'll go this kill rig here. Purple rig. I'm just going to bite and jaws the Succubus, see if that goes off. No, perils. D3. 3. So please take 3 wounds off him. Thank you, my friend. He'll just go to Smiter. 7. Peril. Again. D3. 2. Good thing he's got an auto-hitting gun, hopefully.
I know, right?
Alright, so... look. What's the Grot's shooting profile? Grot Blaster. So they all get 10 shots. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll just do 10, then 10 into the blood rights. Yep, go for it. Are you neg 1 hit at all?
Nope.
Actually, what BS are they? I think they're BS4.
BS. Yeah, should be hitting 4s.
Gretchen, BS4.
Yep.
And then 4s again.
Correct.
And then 3 on whatever your armor save is.
6 ups.
Yep.
1 dice.
Yep. And then I'll roll the other 10. 3 more.
2 more die.
Yep. So I'll go charge base. These beast hangers here will just go into the witches.
Yep.
So untellable effectively. Killing or multi-charge Drazar and the Hellions.
Yep.
So I'm going to spend this at my 1 CP for ramming speed.
Yep.
Actually, so that's. Yep. And then on 2 upgrades takes D3. Yep. D3 mortals. 3 or 2. So
Yep.
he's dead, I believe. He's got 2 left.
Yeah,
Do you want me to pass him to you?
Yep. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much, Lee.
Cheers. That kill rig there. Oh, I forgot to shoot it. Do you mind if I just shoot this up real quick?
Go for it.
Yeah. So just the work tower. D3 shots. 1. Wounds.
4 up. Nope.
Yep. So she'll just die.
Yep.
Then, thanks for that, man. And then, yeah, so then I charge over there. Stormboys into the Blood Rides. Do you have CP for interrupts?
No.
And then commandos, I'll go right in. Commandos will go in.
Yep.
The 2 commandos there. 7. The beast snaggers will charge the raider. Alright, man. I'll just go here with the boys first.
Yep.
So, pile in. So we lose attack now. So it'd be 3 attacks per guy. 3 on the knob. I'll do the power snapper first.
Yep.
1 hit, could explode.
I'd hate to interrupt this broadcast, but I would like everyone in chat to pour one out for my poor boy Drazar. He doesn't deserve to get ramming speeded. Drazars across the entire history of this edition have had one big problem, and it is dying to things charging them and doing mortal wounds. Especially during the days of Crusher Stampede. So, you hate to see it, or at least the Drukhari player in me hates to see it. This kind of behavior does make me think he does need a buff. I am joking, he's from Codex, but all the same. That will herald one of the big switches in the army. Because that was also the succubus taken out by the looks of things. So now the 2 major killer characters are out, basically staring at a raider versus half an orc army. So we'll cut back to them, just see how this turns out, and then we'll go from there.
That's over into the blood
Yeah,
rides.
yeah.
I'll spend the CP for mine, so let me hit over there.
Yep, so I'll roll 5 dice first with your
Yep.
tumbles. Two 6s, and then these will only be 3s, not 2s.
Yep.
So you got 6 to start from the first 5 guys.
4s. So 5 guys so far.
Yep. And then I'll roll the power claw.
Yep.
Nothing. Then 1, 2, 3. Yep, so that's 12 on 4s. Then we get 3 6s, so they go back in.
Yep.
Ugh. And then 3s. So you got 6 maybe 1s.
4 ups. Squad dead. Yep.
Yep. This kill rig here, he's got full attacks. Just into these guys. It explodes, so it still goes in. He is on 2s. So 4 to start, AP2 damage share on the aliens.
Dead.
Yep. Then I'll pass you those ones,
Thank
man.
you very much, Lee.
Cheers. Thank you. That way, you can just swing into me with the radar. I'm not going to bother activating there. I just want to tag you.
3's hit, clear +1 now.
Yep.
And 3's wounds. 2 wounds.
Yep. So I've already taken 1 on the knock.
Yep.
So first fail kills a knock. So kills 2. So that will knock me off a green tide on that quarter because I needed 2 to say that. That's fine. Oh, and then these guys over here. Sorry, I'll just pile them in there. So it's 6 guys. So 6 times 3.
Yep, I'm pretty sure I'm -1 to hit over there. Let me double check.
4, 5, 6. I've rolled and I won't touch it till he touches.
-1 to hit.
-1 to hit. Yep. And then 3 6s, so they go back in. Then it'll be on 3s. So that many AP1s. So 4, 9.
5 ups. Yep. Dead.
So I'll go 3 for Tide, War Ritual. I didn't get a good bits this turn. I get 4 for Corrupted Ground again. And then, yeah. One Raider left.
Yeah. We can just talk it out from here.
GG's, man. Thanks for the game. Yeah, so I'll max bits from here because
you're gonna turn 4
I'll get it and then I'll get it again. Yep. What bridge do I max? Tide. Look, I don't. Yeah, I think I can go 3 then a 4. So it'd be 7 points from here. So that will max it. So I'll get a 3 on my turn. Yeah, no, really good. And then it'll just be primary. Yeah, so I don't. So 97, and I got you on 43, but we'll work out no priz real quick. So, what is left on the board? So I've got 6 guys there, so 5 wounds are dead. The commander is dead. I took it on the top, so that's 4 wounds. So that's 9 wounds out of like half squads. And then I lost 3 wounds there, so that's 12 wounds. And then we just, actually no, I'm an idiot. Just count what's on the table, you fuckhead, Hugh. Sorry, 10, 16. That'll be 26, 36. Yellow Storm Boys will be 47. And then the Commandos will be 49.
Yep.
Beast Dagger Boys here, that'll be 60.
Yep.
Beast Dagger Boys here, 71. And then Beast Dagger Boys here, I've lost, I don't know how many there.
8.
8. So, but I lost the dog, so that'll be 79. So 122 and 79, so you score 4. Right, yeah, so I got 97, 44. Yep. Yeah, thanks for the game, man. Sorry, I know that was pretty brutal. It's a hard matchup, like skill rigs. So you went first. All right, now we're gonna. What's your pin, man?
1203.
Oh, spicy.
Just to confuse everyone.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that appears to have done it, as you would have just seen. The players have just shaken hands and talked out the rest of the game. And as predicted, it did end up being an Orc victory, unfortunately. Poor Drukhari will skulk back and come back later. So, Lemon, do you want to take over for a sec and just run through the game?
Yeah, so obviously, Jeremy went first with the Drukhari. And he positioned and kept it pretty. Yeah, he kept it pretty safe overall. So obviously, playing tactically, sort of waited for the Orcs, did some little bit of shooting and positioned. The Orcs wired turn 1. They exploded out. They killed some Mandrakes, and they tried to get some wraps on in this middle of ruin here. Fortunately for Jeremy, unfortunately for Hugh, like the explosions caused that so you could disembark some things. Jeremy punched back and was able to kill a bunch of units, but then turn 3 onwards, honestly. Also, bottom of 2 onwards. Hugh was just able to kill so much and just win the war of attrition. Jeremy was never able to get through any of the kill rigs, and yeah, so one of the games, and just mortal wounds from Orks was obviously very detrimental to Drukhari. Jazza died explicitly to mortal wounds through an explosion, through a roar of Mork, I believe it is, like off Snazzle, apologies, I can't remember the exact spell, and then the ramming speed finishing him off. So yeah, pretty brutal. Just a lot of stuff. So yeah, despite obviously what the stats say, according to StatCheck, look, the Orks got up this time, so improving that Goff statistics one game at a time. So yeah, hope everyone enjoyed the game. If you have any questions at all, feel free to chuck them down below. I believe we might try and get the players on to try a little chat about the game afterwards, but we'll see what happens. And then once Jackie Boy gets back, we'll give you a time in terms of when the next round will be. So yeah, and just a heads up, so for day one, we'll try and get some games which are probably a bit less prominent, and then get some players on who you normally won't see, but still some good matchups, obviously. And then day two will be obviously all the top tables all the way through. So fantastic.
The other thing I will mention based on that as well is if anyone in chat actually has a list based on the previews that they want to see, or a faction that they want to see, let us know. Because right now we're basically sitting in a spot where we can highlight some really interesting games to you all. So if there's anything in particular you want to see, put it in the chat. We'll do our best to see what we can feature, and obviously do our best around that. So, look, Sam, I trust that you explained that Orks are an absolutely terrible army and they shouldn't get away with this. It's very unfair, and I don't like it. So, obviously, you would have explained all of that.
100%, exactly, word for words, exactly what I said.
Yeah. Drazar underpowered, needs a points drop ASAP. The usual. But no, it was a good game. A lot of Goff pressure matchups don't reflect the opponent's ability, because Goff pressure is a bit of a stat check army, and that's exactly what it did. It's very good at strangling down your opponent and still scoring all of its points. So 44 would not be considered a good score in a game, but that is nothing against Jez as a player. As a player, I think he played that pretty optimally. I couldn't find any glaring mistakes or anything in there, so don't let that 44 reflect. And it's also a good lesson for 40k in general. Don't let the final score dictate how happy you are with the game. Sometimes that's all you can score. Sometimes you'll go into a matchup and that's your ceiling. So do your best to keep it in observation and just focus on it like that. We're going to take a quick break leading into lunchtime to just reset the cameras and get ready for round two and prepare another amazing matchup for you. So if I go and double check, I'll just let everyone know. We have, I believe, we start back up at 12:50 or 1. Let me double check. Won't be a second, everybody. This really helps when I know everything. Let's see. Yeah, so round two will begin.
Don't admit failure, Jack. Of course you know everything. We're perfect. We have never done anything wrong ever in life.
Exactly. We're completely omnipotent and nothing has ever gone wrong. Round two will be at 12:30, so in about an hour's time. So stay tuned for that. And until then, Sam, do you have any closing comments just while I get everything sorted out?
Yeah, no, appreciate everyone for watching. If you have any feedback or would like to see something for round two, let us know and we'll try and get it on stream. So thanks, everybody. You have a great one. Take care.